like more friendly.
No, and I hate the engorged like thorax part. Gross. When I see like a time lapse of a caterpillar turning into a butterfly, it's horrible when the butterfly first comes out of the chrysalid and it's most like pus filled and fat. I hate it. Hello and welcome to the Pens and Pixels Popcast. I'm your host Cal G, and to my left is the coordinator extraordinator,
Mike Kent.
The Popcast is the place to come to if you want to hear about the art and news of video games, comics, and movies that week.
And pop culture.
Pop culture, you say?
I say.
Mike?
Yep.
They found a new species of moth, and they're naming it after Donald Trump. This is very timely news. He was just inaugurated on Friday.
Hooray.
Today is a recording, but you know when you're listening to this on Friday. It's a yellow-haired moth named after Donald Trump. The insect, which inhabits parts of Mexico and Southern California, was discovered by biologist Varric Nazari, a researcher from Ottawa, in a collection at the Bohart Museum of Entomology.
So this thing's got flaky scales on its head that look like it's...
Like a little yellow toupee, kind of.
Yeah, so that's kind of why it's called this. Not just because he was like, fuck that guy.
Well, it also has a wingspan of just 0.4 inches, which I thought might be a dig at his small hands.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, maybe that's a thing, too.
Would have been more if it had small, legs.
He has tiny little nubs. It's named Neopalpa Donald Trumpy. That's a scientific name. Which is great. Its habitat also happens to span the border between United States and Mexico, a region that could end up being divided by a wall if the new president's plans are brought to fruition. It's a completely new species, which is interesting. It's a distinctive wing pattern, and its unique DNA barcode immediately flagged it as a new and undescribed species.
Huh.
I hope that the president will make a conservation of such a fragile ecosystem in the U.S. his top priority. These ecosystems still contain many undiscovered and undescribed species and deserve to be protected for future generations.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, that's not happening under Trump.
Yeah.
Immediately when he got inaugurated today, they took down the climate change page on the fucking White House or something. I was like, okay, all right, cool. This is dead. The only thing named after Donald Trump is dead.
It's the only political thing we'll ever talk about.
It was also science, though.
But that's the thing. That's why we talked about it.
Yeah.
Because science is cool.
And Donald Trump is pop culture.
Yes.
And also politics. This is a rare, triple penetration.
Yeah, you got all three holes. Wait.
The trifecta.
Wait, there's... Okay, I'm sorry.
3 holes.
Yeah, there's 3 holes. Mouth and the other 2.
Yeah. Mouth and the other 2. That's science. So this week...
I don't know why I suddenly thought I shouldn't say those words. And I'm like, wait a minute. What podcast do we run where we say pussy and shit all the time?
Yeah, we can say whatever we want. So this week we're going to be going down the newsy news that you need to know, as usual. And then after the break, we're going to be going down a list of things that Sony could surprise us with this E3. We know it's a bit early, but we were thinking about, what could Sony surprise us with next? Every E3, they've been, knocking it out of the park, just showing us stuff that, we never thought you'd do Shenmue 3. The Last Guardian is back. Holy shit. Final Fantasy 7 Remake. All this shit, right?
What revival are they going to bring back? We've talked about franchises we want to come back, but, this is...
There's a list of things that have been, under the radar for a very long time and unheard of that Sony could possibly step in and be like, let's make this now.
And not just the weird hopefuls like Jade Cocoon.
Yes, Jade Cocoon is not going to make the list once again. Mike, is there any Pens and Pixels housekeeping?
No, just make sure to join in on the schoolism. The schoolism event coming up on February 4th. Grab your tickets now. It's only 2 weeks away. It's going to be a lot of fun. Other than that, drink and draws are always the same, and follow and like and share and enjoy the podcast as much as possible. Give us your feedback and all of your love.
Feedback and love. That's all we ask for.
No negativity. We just want good things because we know the internet's good for that.
Yes, no. The internet is just a fucking hive of positivity. All right, if that's all, on to the newsy news. All right, first up, Mike, we got some cool-ass Darth Maul origin story concept art.
Is he a spider yet?
So, no. So, the reason I clicked this story was because I was like, is this Darth Maul spider concept art? It's not.
No.
But it's from a canceled video game that I guess was going to come out on the PS3 and Xbox 360 era. Yeah. And I'll put the link in the show notes, and I'll probably flash it up on the YouTube video if you follow on YouTube. Yeah. We have a whole batch of cool concepts for Darth Maul and what he looked like. I guess this is supposed to be before Episode 1. Darth Maul is already a cool-looking character.
I didn't think he needed a redesign. I mean, Okay, so if you want to spice up his outfit a little bit, he was just wearing basically the Japanese gi, like...
he was just wearing a robe, right?
Yeah. It was like a Jedi robe, but like Sithy.
There you go.
In black. But I don't know, like considering like how much is built around his iconic tattoos and the hood and the horns and all that.
Are those tattoos? That's not just like his skin.
No, it's markings, but I'm just
okay.
You know, I'm just saying like the tattooy.
Well, I don't know the Star Wars lore. Let me dig a little.
No, it's skin.
All right.
I mean, who wouldn't want to be born to a species just born with badass tribal tattoos?
Exactly. Yeah, he's red and black. He's dope as fuck.
Yeah. I didn't really see a need to flash it up. And this is one of the things I've always disliked, which is coming across from like this kind of concept art, and any concept design for a lot of the Star Wars stuff, is like we get the Star Wars character, and I don't mind redesigns. Of course, you should have different outfits and different gear. I love that shit.
Yeah.
But every time they ever draw it, they do this, which if you guys look at the images, but I can easily just tell you, they always add spines and lots of tattered fabric and equipment on them that glows and does nothing. Now that's Star Wars. Star Wars is always filled with like things that
glow and do nothing.
But like, if you look at the movies, the good ones, like it's usually like, oh, they've got a belt that blinks and stuff like that. All the art has got like shit that they don't need. Like he doesn't need leg gauntlets. He doesn't need arm gauntlets.
No, but like, okay, this is personally coming from me, and you know like the kind of stuff I like.
Yeah.
I like tattered, stupid cloaks and like a hood. I think it makes him look more badass.
That could be fine. Get rid of all the metal on the cloak. Give him a cloak, right?
Yeah.
Get rid of the gauntlets because again, completely unnecessary. And he can keep boots, although it looks like he's got robot legs.
They look like robot legs, yeah.
Yeah. Which maybe that's just after he got himself spliced in half.
It's his origin story. I don't know.
Yeah, because the thing is he does go back to human legs with his bottom half being robot after a while. So, I mean...
It would have seen players at the start of the iconic villain's story when he was around 10 years old, with things ultimately leading to his memorable appearance in Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
But this could be...
Maybe this is, afterwards. Who fucking knows?
Yeah, so... Although he does seem to have in every single concept having...
They all have robot legs.
Yeah.
Maybe they are supposed to be boots. It just looks like robot legs.
Well, I mean, there's some proportion issues with all of this stuff.
There's also, I don't know what these people are, but I'll put them on screen. Human. She looks human. This looks like
another one.
another Sith.
Yeah,
yeah,
but it's another of his race.
Yeah, it's a yellow Darth Maul.
Yeah. But they gave him hair,
and they got this. This is cool. I don't know what this is.
It's just another cute character.
This reminds me of that Star Wars. No, StarCraft Queen.
Oh,
what's her face?
Morgan.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't know stuff about StarCraft. Yeah. It reminds me of that thing, kind of, with the dreads and the...
Yeah. It's neat stuff. I like them exploring the side, but I don't know. It's there's just too much... Like, I mean, I get it. They're like, oh, look, Darth Maul has spines. Let's put a bunch of fucking spines on things.
Look, I like how plain this guy looks compared to everyone else now.
Well, that's because he's an Imperial soldier.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And this is a Stormtrooper.
Yeah. Or, sorry, an Imperial general. Like, they all have the same outfit.
Ah.
That's the thing about doing concept artwork for anything that's militaristic. Every single time you're like, draw me a military dude. And you're just like, well, they're just going to look like a dude in a uniform.
Well, I think he looks like a cool cross between the demon from Insidious and Spawn. That's always a good look to go for. I always call the thing from Insidious Darth Maul.
Yeah, it did look like Darth Maul. Even though they're calling it the lipstick demon? What is that?
I'm not really sure.
Like,
did it leave lipstick?
No, because like that's the thing. His whole face is black, and then the red markings. Like he's got no lipstick.
He worked better when he was only on screen for like a second in a jump scare, and then also in the shadows.
Well, they had one scene where he crawled along the walls. That was really cool.
Oh right, yeah, that was cool too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and near the end of the movie, he was like basically in like a Muppet puppet theater, like playing his little like crank thing. He's like dee dee dee. I was like, all right, this is not scary anymore.
I thought that was kind of creepy.
I didn't at all. I thought it looked too cartoony for me.
Yeah.
I think that was why. So I'll flash those up on the screen, or I'll put them in the show notes if you want to check that out. It's cool stuff. I always like seeing just canceled video game stuff in general, you know?
Yeah.
I always like seeing
I
what
get why
been.
it would cancel, though, because the thing is Darth Maul is a cool character on his own, but, like, there isn't enough to him. In the end, he didn't say anything in the whole fucking movie.
Well, it was going to be him in 10 years old and growing into his...
Yeah, but we didn't care. All it was just a badass dude who showed up and stabbed a few things.
But what if you want to know more about that badass dude? What if he had a bunny that
I was good with
died and he cared for it, and that's really the center of his character?
The only thing I didn't like was that they killed him so soon. They're just like, he showed up for a few minutes in the movie, cut him in half, and threw him down the pit.
And then he became a fucking rockin' spider. And he starred in Wild Wild West with Will Smith. All right, next up.
Oh my god. Someone please make a video superimposing Darth Maul sitting on top of that thing.
Rah! Is that what it sounds like? I don't know. Lucasfilm will not be bringing back Carrie Fisher's Leia Organa. Is that her last name?
There you go.
With CGI.
Yep.
And this was a debate going on for a little while, and it's actually interesting they cleared it up this quickly because there was so much fervor and talk about it.
Yeah. Well, it would need addressing.
Well, they said, we don't normally respond to fan or press speculation, but there's a rumor circulating that we would like to address. We want to assure our fans that Lucasfilm has no plans to digitally recreate Carrie Fisher's performance as Princess or General Leia. Carrie Fisher was and always will be a part of the Lucasfilm family. She was our princess, our general, and more importantly, our friend. We are still hurting from her loss. We cherish her memory as legacy as Princess Leia, and we will always strive to honor everything she gave to Star Wars.
Well done.
Yeah, that's great. Again, and there's just been a bunch of rumors about how this is going to have massive rewrites for Episode 9, I think.
It's probably going to, because they were always planning to have her very much tied into the final movie.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's going to require some reworks on their behalf. But I've seen them pull shit off where they're like, she's just making coffee. And you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, like are they... I wonder if it's as easy as just substituting in C-3PO or something and being like, General Leia said this. She's on an important mission over there, you know?
Yeah,
and
like, it could be something that simple if depending on how much time she's supposed to have.
Yeah.
But, yeah, the thing was, when this came out, I was actually more pleased than I thought I would be.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was rolling that in my head going, like, is it disrespectful? But do we do that? Is now that technology, do we open that door where we start reviving dead actors just because we can?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, I was like, I didn't know where to go.
It gets weird, and it's like it's a morally gray area,
Yeah.
right? Because you don't know. It's like, if it's okay with the family, maybe it should be okay with all of us. Like,
Yeah.
everyone's allowed to have their own feelings about it, obviously.
And everyone
like,
would. Like, even with what they did with Moff Tarkin and Star Wars Rebels. Sorry,
Rogue One?
Rogue One, thank you. With Rogue One, like, everyone was, like, even just seeing it when I wasn't expecting it, I was like, oh, this opens up a whole can of worms.
Yeah.
This leaves me with a lot of questions. But now that they've just officially determined it, I think it kind of sets a precedent, right? Now that they've done it, and they go, okay, we have to be respectful to, like, her death, especially since it was recent, but even then, and to everything that she was, we shouldn't keep playing with it.
Mm.
And then once it was done, I was like, you're right, that is the right thing to do. We shouldn't keep playing with it. My feelings otherwise were just that I wanted more.
Well, the thing is, too, it's like, I struggle with it too because I think that an artist should be able to tell their story. But if that's the case, I guess you just recast. But then that opens a whole other can of worms again about like you're recasting Princess fucking Leia, that type thing, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a hard thing, especially with an ongoing franchise like that where she was playing such an important character.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what they do going forward. But you're right, it does set a precedent. Maybe other people will think twice before they start doing stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Or maybe they won't. Like they finished Paul Walker's performance after he died in Fast and the Furious 8 or 7 with his brother stepping in, and then they kind of like CG'd the face, I guess.
Yeah.
The family was all on board for that. Obviously, it was his brother playing. So
yeah, but that was also like right next to filming. Like that's a little bit different.
Yeah, they've apparently considered doing it for future installations. I think they should just let it be at this point. You finished the film, and that was the last one, and it was great.
I think that's going to become more of the trend. It's like if people start trying to cram it in just by chance into other things, people are going to be like, you know what? This isn't actually making my movie better. It's more just taking me out going, whoa. Even if you made it spotless and I had literally no clue that was CG.
You still know.
I know the person's dead.
Yeah, exactly.
So if I see them come back to life all of a sudden, I'd just be like,
It does, yeah, and it kind of would take you out of the movie. You'd have that's true.
Like,
that's a good
point.
point.
Are you doing a good thing here? So I think it's going to become a trend to not do it.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right, let's get into some superhero news. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson will star in DC's Black Adam spin-off film. I guess we know what The Rock's strategic meeting from last week was. Yeah, that DC strategic meeting, right?
No, I know, but he's being like, you're like strategic, and he's trying to be all coy about it. This man was like fucking just like, by the way, something real's happening here.
Yeah, like, so.
But with like a fucking bullhorn.
What was your reaction to this?
Well, it was on Instagram. Huh.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's very odd, but like it also makes a lot of sense to me because Black Adam himself
is a great character.
Great. I was gonna say a no name, like to the mainstream. Like
it's a no name, but look up the whole Shazam Black Adam like lore.
I only know like very loose stuff about Shazam and Black Adam.
It's very cool. It's actually really, really neat. I like the whole Egyptian history stuff and like the Black Adam's like character build up in his history. It's very cool. When I looked it up, I was like, whoa, this is really deep. So great character to work with, but like I've never seen The Rock do anything other than like, you know, fucking the Mummy shit.
But
you know, like,
look, I honestly have faith that Rock will pull it off. I just think that DC is just like because they signed him like years ago, like back in 2012 or something. Like,
yeah,
remember for like a Shazam movie, and everyone was like, oh, and then like it kept popping up randomly, and people were like, oh right, he's gonna be in a DC movie. That's the thing that's happening. And like I feel now The Rock is blown up, and he's like the biggest movie star currently acting. But they were like, fuck, we should put him in a solo flick. Who's he playing? Black Adam. We're making a Black Adam solo flick, everybody! Like, you know, like I think it's cool too because this is really the first, aside from Suicide Squad. It's the first, like, villain-centered movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, which is neat. But this is my problem. So I was like, is that Black Adam is a very dark character. Mm-hmm. Very dark. Like, there's nothing pleasing about this man. Like, I mean, he's, like, got this honorable core to him, but at the end of the day, like, there's, like, child murder and, like, you name it, right? Mm-hmm. Like, this guy is a bad guy. And then, like, one of the baddest bad guys you could ever pick out of the entire DC universe. He does horrible shit. And he spends a lot of time, really honestly, tormenting Billy Baxter.
Well, a lot of these people are saying it's a companion film or a sequel to Shazam. So it might just be Shazam 2, but like more centered around Black Adam. You know what I mean? Like, it might not be like a day in the life of Black Adam necessarily, but it could be.
No, but I can't see the Rock. Like, what is it? All I can see him doing is turning around and raising his fucking eyebrow. Like.
He's come a little ways from that. Just that.
I agree.
Yeah, he's come.
I agree. But he's always been goofy. Always. He's never. I mean, he's tried to pull off serious, like fucking Doom, right? Where he's trying to be like the badass Semper
Sure.
You know. Yep. But he still was fucking Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah. Well, I think his best acting performance that I've seen is in Ballers, and that's like it's a drama comedy, but it's not drama in the way that like this is gonna be dramatic. You know what I mean?
There's like you can't make this fun and light. Not Black Adam. There's nothing funny about it.
Especially going forward with DC's fucking. We're gonna be all fun and light.
Yeah, well that's the thing. Like Shazam, you could do it with, right? Because Billy Baxter's a kid and like he turns into a hero and like that makes sense. But as for like Black Adam, his entire history, his entire story, everything he's about is all just murder and darkness and regicide and infanticide and like he's an angry dude.
Well, maybe it'll be their badass dark film. Like, who knows?
I hope he pulls this off because it's an excellent character.
I honestly have faith that The Rock can pull it off.
Seriously, I expect him to show up and just be like, you know, can you smell what Black Adam's cooking?
Can you smell what's under my foot? The thunder. Yeah, like
thunder.
Who fucking knows? Next up in the world of DC is the rumor that Wonder Woman is a disjointed disaster.
This is driving me nuts.
So this has been popping up everywhere, and it makes it seem like legitimate news.
Yeah.
But it's one rumor from one source. Let's all keep this in mind. And this is good. I feel like we're both on the same page right now. We want to kind of like take this rumor with a grain of salt, like.
Which I think should prove something to everyone who's listening. We've badmouthed DC probably for 59, 60 episodes.
Yes.
You know, but the thing is that they've made bad movies.
Yes.
And so everyone's so worried that every movie they're going to make is going to be bad, and every decision they've been making so far has been awful. But Wonder Woman is one of the only films from them that, I've ever thought was going to be good.
Yes. Okay. So here's what happens. On a recent episode of the Schmoes Knows show. Sorry, the Schmoes Know Show.
This is a real like on cable show?
No, this is a YouTube channel. It was revealed that Wonder Woman may be a big mess. According to the host, Sasha Pearlraver, someone with insider info has seen the movie, or at least a decent chunk of the movie, and claims that it's discombobulated, not the great movie the trailers have led the fans it might be. Here's what was said by Sasha herself. So, I don't want to throw anyone under the bus. We have somebody within our community who has gotten insider information that broke my effing heart this week. Because I have a tremendous belief that Wonder Woman is going to be awesome, and I heard it stinks from the same person who told me that they heard Batman vs. Superman stinks. The person who I spoke to, their response was, I'm very disappointed in what I saw, and it seems like all the problems are the same problems. It's discombobulated, it doesn't have narrative flow, it's just very disjointed.
It could be. I mean, technically.
Yes, totally, like, We know they're not hiring good editors.
No. Like, it could turn out to be that. And the thing is there's a lot inside of that trailer that if you look at it, could be interpreted as really dumb and stupid. But it really seems like it's coalesced itself quite nicely. Like, it's hard to believe that it's going to be like...
I'm hoping. I'm also hoping because this is the first female-led superhero movie we've had, which is crazy to think about since the good superhero movies started in 2008 with Iron Man. Like, we haven't had one single female-led one, and it's almost and we're not going to until this year. So if the first one is like, if it does bad financially or critically or like, whatever, I feel like some bigwig's gonna be like, see, this is why we don't do fucking women. We just don't do the women for the lead roles. We just don't do it.
Vaginas don't sell.
Vaginas don't sell. We're not putting Scarlett Johansson in a movie. No. We don't own the Avengers, sir. We don't. Who do we own? DC. Oh, that's fucking terrible! I didn't know that.
Why are we doing this?
We're a sinking ship.
Sell.
Anyways, I would really like to not believe this rumor, especially since it's been blown so out of proportion.
Especially from one source too.
Like, one source that they can't name. And I don't know what the legitimacy of this. She said they told me this person they heard that Batman vs Superman stunk too. I didn't hear that from them at the time, so I'm not sure. Again, I don't know if they spoke about it at the time. Yeah. They very well could have, but I didn't hear it from them. So I'm going to take this with a grain of salt, and I'm still going to be cautiously optimistic with Wonder Woman.
It's just the rate that the internet took this up. Like, it was funny because this shit pops up all the time. And then suddenly this one line comes up and everyone's like, Wonder Woman sucks. And it's on everything. It's popping up everywhere. Like,
and it makes it seem like it's true. Or like,
Yeah, like everything's like, it's so confirmed that this is just now a piece of shit.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Which will destroy the movie because Suicide Squad and all the other movies, like, probably suffered like a 10% loss and probably sat worse in my head a little bit just from the sheer fact that everyone was like, this is going to be bad. Mm-hmm. There was clear signs to say, yes, they were going to be bad movies. But that doesn't help. It's really actually very destructive. So if this movie could be a 90, it'll end up being like a 70 because everyone's going to walk in there and be like, I'm ready for this to be a piece of shit. Oh, she doesn't step well. Her armor jiggled a little bit. Like,
it's going to go back to our Pet Peeves episode. Go check out 2 or 3 episodes ago where our second topic was Pet Peeves. Yeah. Where we talked about people one of our Pet Peeves was like people walking into something wanting to hate it, and they just pick out stupid little nonsense things. Yeah,
and the stupid little science of it, where they're just like, oh, quantum mechanics say, and I'm like, do you really care?
The worst thing is if the movie actually legitimately does something bad, and it's like the one flaw in the movie or something, it's a dumb shot or like a stupid piece of dialogue, and you're like, and then that's what they hang on to, and you can't really fight it. You're like, I know that's stupid, but like the rest of it is good, like, that kind of thing. All right, so the Warner Brothers guy, that's what we own. We own DC. I got it. We're right on track here. We're eyeing up Attack on Titan for an American remake. What's that one about?
There's these giant naked guys that just keep eating people.
Fascinating. How many dicks do we got to render? How many swinging cocks do we got? Mr. Manhattan was a huge hit.
Yeah, everyone talked about the blue cock.
Swinging just like a giant pendulum. Like if Big Ben had a pendulum.
That was really waggly.
The weird thing about this is they keep calling it a remake.
Remake?
It's an American remake. They got rights for an American remake, which to me just means like you're gonna adapt the story. Like you don't have to do a scene for scene remake of the Japanese movie, which apparently was bad.
I think that's why they're calling it a remake, because it's the North American release of a movie that has come out in Japan. That's what it says in my head. It's like Attack on Titan as a film does exist.
I guess that's true.
Because it exists in the North American version. So, that this says remake is Japanese version.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, but I'm excited. I really want to see North Americans take on more anime stuff. Ghost in the Shell could be something amazing.
It looks like it really could be. And we talked about this before.
It looks to me, actually, to be 100% honest, and you got to say this, is like, I think I'm always constantly going on Ghost in the Shell with, like, it's going to be great, is just because I really want it to be great. There's something about it at the same time that, like, no matter how much I deceive myself into believing that it's going to be good, and there's qualities to that, you got to admit, you still think it looks like there's a good chance that it also sucks. Like, there's something about the delivery that's like, it actually sucks, but I'm telling myself it's good. I think
that's very possible, but I think if nothing else, it's going to be a beautiful film to look at. Yeah. So I can still get behind it in a way.
But I couldn't do that for Jupiter Ascending. Everyone's like, it's the most gorgeous film ever, but it's so fucking dumb. It's a dogman.
That's
with
true.
Like hover shoes.
Well, and depending how badly they butcher the story in this movie, it could be the same thing. You never know.
But since they're like literally copying scenes, it makes me think they're literally copying Ghost in the Shell, which is what they have to do. Because like Ghost in the Shell is way too heavily written to like deviate.
Yeah.
You know. But Attack on Titan, the question I have to ask with that one is, what the fuck are they going to show? Like,
well, I mean,
there's a lot to talk about.
Sure, I'm
we don't even know the ending.
Yeah, no, but I assume it's going to just cover up to a certain arc in the show. I don't know what the movies did in Japan. I didn't watch them because everyone said they were bad, so
yeah.
I just stayed away from it. The graphics didn't look good, but a lot of Japanese movies, the graphics always have that like
they don't have the production.
They're like 5-8 years behind us in the technology.
Which, strangely enough, their cities are like 10 years ahead of us in technology.
It's so it's so strange. Like I'm like Square Enix makes better graphics than these fucking movies have. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it's weird. I'm all for this if they can pull it off. Obviously, like it would be dope if they actually did a Hollywood style, big budget, like great looking Titan movie.
Yeah, but we need more of this. I mean, the game thing is not working out, so let's turn to anime.
And like for the last couple of podcasts now, we've just had anime properties getting snatched up by people. Yeah. Like I feel like they're just waiting in the wings, like to see if Ghost in the Shell fucking does good. Like we're gonna strike on these. So
yeah, if someone pulls it off, we can launch the new what is it, fucking universe, movie universe.
Yeah, new cinematic universe. I mean, Attack on Titan. That'll be our new Harry Potter or whatever the fuck, right?
I was thinking more MCU, but
sure, whatever. Our new franchise. All right, let's get into some Fox Marvel stuff. Mm-hmm. I think it's Fox. Yes, Fox. All right. So Pierce Brosnan was photographed with Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds. Yeah. And as we know, Deadpool 2 is starting to film quite soon.
They did the hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil pose.
Yeah, they did.
Which like, we have a secret.
Yeah, they're toying with something here. Yeah. Everyone immediately jumped to Cable. I really don't think it's Cable. I really don't think Pierce Brosnan is Cable.
I've seen everyone's artist rendition of it, and I'm like, and they're like showing the pictures of Cable. I'm like, can you find me a thin, tall British man looking version of Cable? Yeah. Or is it more likely that all the pictures you find are a man whose muscles are bigger than his own head?
Yes, exactly. Like, and you could see people arguing like, well, they might not be doing a comic faithful, but it's like they did fucking Colossus like comics faithful last time. It's one of the best parts of Deadpool. Like, I imagine they're sticking to like we're gonna do comic accurate shit. Yeah. So Mr. Sinister's gotten brought up a lot.
Because he's been brought up as the villain at the end of the last X-Men movie, which I guess is a loose tie-in. Well,
yeah, and they've confirmed now that Mr. Sinister is not going to be in the Logan film. We'll talk about the Logan trailer right after this. Yeah. They confirmed Mr. Sinister's not in Logan. They said that's not going to fit this, and it clearly wouldn't. It'd be weird if all of a sudden this guy with a weird fucking parted cape came out and was like, I want your little girl! You know, like, oh, okay. Yeah. So this is, Pierce Brosnan as Mr. Sinister would be good.
Why did Mr. Sinister sound like Skeletor?
That's what I envisioned he sounds like now.
Nah!
Nah! See? Also, yeah, like a 20s gangster.
Yeah. Does he look like a 20s gangster?
No, not at all. He's all white and pale. It's a weird, like, airline. Yeah. But Mr. Sinister is dope, and, like, I would love to see him, and I actually do think Pierce Brosnan could probably pull it off.
No, that's a good role for him, because Nathaniel Essex, the character, this human name, is, like, this super genius scientist who's obsessed with the evolution of mutants and all that shit. Mm-hmm. That kind of ties into the whole Deadpool thing and making mutants, which would be a thing he would do. Yeah. So, like, the drugs and all that the asshole that felt no pain, whatever the fuck his name was.
Ajax.
Or what was his name that he kept on calling him? His real name.
Oh, his real name? Yeah, I forget.
He spelled it out in fucking bodies. How do I not remember?
Yeah, I don't remember. That was, like, one of my favorite jokes in the whole movie.
Yeah. Nevertheless, it's a good tie-in for it. Plus, Pierce Brosnan's done some fun comedy stuff before, so I can totally see him pull it off. And he's got that kind of debonair suave thing, which Essex would have.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of where I was thinking too.
Plus, build size, you've seen thicker or thinner Sinisters. Plus, he's a shapeshifter, so who the fuck cares?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, I think that's cool. If you want to go see some cool mock-up concept art, it's by Boss Logic. Yeah. I think he's on Instagram. He has some cool stuff. You can see a bunch of his like mock-ups as
I don't think they're going to.
MODOK or whatever.
That would be still so good.
I want them to do MODOK in a movie. I want a faithful MODOK. I want a giant fucking head floating around. Like, make it Ron Perlman. I don't care. Just Ron Perlman's giant noggin with like yellow armor around it and tiny little head. Yeah, fuck, that'd be great.
Well, we were saying actually that they're talking about the fact that Peter Dinklage has been brought into the Infinity War world. old, right?
Yeah.
And they've said they've seen him getting his hair dyed red, which makes it more likely that he's going to be Pip, which was one of the Infinity Watch guys worked with Warlock and the Infinity.
Yeah, I was going to say he's with Adam Warlock,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, like he exists in that world, so it seems to make more sense to do that. But I still think he would be amazing to, like I was saying before the podcast, to make him into MODOK. Just literally, just take Peter Dinklage, just stick him in a yellow kind of like cube headpiece, have his arms stick out of the side, and have this little baby MODOK head float around.
Okay, a baby MODOK head would be fucking fantastic too.
Don't take it too serious. Just stick him in.
What do you think about like Patrick Warburton as MODOK? the voice of Joe?
Yeah.
Alright. I'm a mechanized organism designed only for killing.
I'm also Lemony Snicket.
Yeah, I'm also in the Netflix show. Patrick Warburton. Don't say that! Alright. I'm sorry.
I don't really ever know where I am.
I got a lot of squinting to do.
I play gay characters a lot.
He was great in Ted.
He was great in Ted.
My mom was like fucking baffled. Like she was like, he's playing a gay character, and I was like, yeah, it's like the joke because he's so big and manly, right? Like, and she's like, I can't believe he'd take that role, and I'm like, he has like 2 lines in the movie. I'm like, don't read too much into this. And she's like, do you think he's gay? I'm like, no. Like she was just like reading so much into this fucking movie.
It's just like the first time she's ever seen someone take a gay role before, and it's like, he's got to kiss a dude.
Yeah, like
doesn't that mean? And I was like, no, you can do things like you're not going down on him.
Yeah,
unless you're performing like live fellatio on film. I think you can pretty much.
He's an actor. He acts.
I still my part from that scene though was just Ryan Reynolds' weird ass fucking creepily stare,
like
holding him and staring with that smile, saying nothing.
Oh fuck it, yeah, that was so good.
He's just like, I'm Ryan Reynolds and I'm here.
All right, next up, the Logan trailer. What'd you think of that?
It was great.
Yeah, it still looks good. Surprisingly, for some reason I kind of thought that like as the more trailers dropped, it would start looking. I'd be like, oh okay, it's not. It looks okay, but like not as good.
It is definitely. Comic book movied itself a bit. Some people were like playing around with, again, just hopes and dreams that this was going to be an Oscar nominated film, like it was going to be this really heavy drama.
I saw some articles about that.
Dark, like fucking
emotional tale.
Like something that was going to basically just kind of weave itself away from action and make it more itself about what really could be easily portrayed as a very dark story. Wolverine has the potential to do that very easily.
Yeah.
This is definitely showing its comic book movie side a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the comic book reference with the actual X-Men comic book. And
that was neat.
That was cute.
Yeah, I like that.
But still, it completely holds up. And, X-23 was looking pretty neat. I liked the whole father-son thing they kind of or father-daughter thing they kept leaning out with the two of them, which we knew was in there, but I just liked the visual, like, kind of behind it.
Mm.
That was cool. Yeah, I've got nothing negative to say. As a trailer, though, just in the trailer, I kind of preferred that they would have stayed with some more country music rather than that song.
Yeah, no, I totally understand that. But yeah, it still looks good. I think this actually might be like the first good Wolverine movie.
Yep.
The first one's
bad.
bad.
It's the last one.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. Like, how they keep fucking up Wolverine. Like, he seems like the easiest character to make a movie for.
Well, Hugh Jackman always does a great job. Even in the shitty movies, he's always amazing. Like, that's the weird part. Like, you could just literally make
he's
movies.
A good Wolverine, but, like, they just keep writing him terrible scripts, you know?
You can make movies just only the shots where he's actually in the scene the whole time, and probably make great movies. Just cut out everything else. And it probably make just as much sense.
I know some people did like the second one with the Silver Samurai. I personally didn't.
That was good for the first half, and then when it started getting to him in the ninja town fighting ninjas and then getting his fucking claws cut off again, and you're like, why?
I was like, I really should really like this more than I do.
Suck your fucking marrow out through your claws. I'm like, dude, you literally had him on a gurney and injected him with something. You could have done it then.
Yeah.
Like. Whatever.
Yeah, the movie wasn't great.
No.
Next up, the Power Rangers trailer.
So this is...
I
still don't know.
No, I'm a little more... I think I know what to expect from this movie now. It looks like a very generic blockbuster to me now, the way it's being painted.
It does.
It looks like... It doesn't... I don't think it looks bad. A lot of people are, like, shitting on this trailer heavily. I think it looks like a normal-ass, like, blockbuster movie now. And I'm not getting the Chronicle vibes as strongly as I did. I actually laughed at one of the jokes when she was like, I think I'm a superhero now, and then the cup was just like, pee in this cup, and like I was
That's actually an interesting, really cool fan theory. I'll get to in a second with that.
Oh, is it? Yeah, I think I saw that too. But yeah, it just looks like a lot more like a normal movie now, like a normal blockbuster. It's gonna hit the certain beats like Transformers does, and
Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, exactly. It's gonna be that kind of thing, and it's gonna be probably okay.
It definitely, but it's still weird. There's just something about it when you watch it, and it's just like it's not that it's awful, and it's not that it's good. You just don't know what to think.
Yeah.
Like still, like you're like, I don't know what you're trying to do, and it's not even just the ad campaign. It's quite clear from the footage. None of this is going to make any sense. And I think in some weird way, because it's going to be completely like just like everyone's going to be like, what was that?
Yeah.
That is going to be like everyone's going to be like, that was kind of good because I have no clue. You know?
Do you think this will be like the actual like first good like adaptation they've done in a long time?
Yeah, I think not even good. It's just going to be baffling, and everyone's just going to be like.
See, I'm not even expecting that anymore. I really think it's just going to be kind of like generic.
I have no clue what to expect. That's the thing. I can't say what's going to happen with this because everything I see is just like.
Maybe it's just the way this trailer was edited. It made it look like a lot more of a normal movie to me rather than like here's a Chronicle vibe and here's a weird other like thing. Like it was very normal to me.
Yeah. The fan theory was that the peeing in the cup was the adopted mother, who is Elizabeth Banks, and that's Rita Repulsa. Like she gets infected or taken over by Rita.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
cool. Yeah, I saw some fingernail theory with that. I guess is that what it was?
Yeah, because the green fingernails in her hand looked very much like Elizabeth Banks, and the voice is Elizabeth Banks. It sounds just like her.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
cool.
So I was thinking that's the case. The thing about the Goldar, like that he's just literally gold. Like in the scene, she's literally lifting up gold from a scene and like from a bank or whatever, and then turns it into a giant Goldar monster. Yeah. So it's just a bunch of gold.
Yeah, I would really have preferred the weird bat gold creature we got.
Oh, I would have preferred a creature rather than just like
a massive gold. Yeah, yeah.
Totally. Like the putties thing was kind of interesting. I like that turnaround rather than being like a humanoid creature with a very large apparent weak point that you just have to put slight amount of pressure on to kill. Yeah. Like. As being putties, they're just like molded together from rock.
I really hope they still make the noise. Or something, right? Yeah, some weird little nod to that. They did say it's morphin' time.
They did.
Enjoyed that.
Yeah.
I still want Bryan Cranston to utter the phrase, I need teenagers with attitude. And deliver it like fucking Heisenberg.
And
just like
super serious. They didn't make the black Power Ranger black.
No, they didn't. Yeah, they did.
And they made a joke about it.
Yeah. That was good. That was, yeah, some of the humor might be good in this movie. Who fucking knows?
If they play tongue-in-cheek, it could fly.
Yeah, it could. Next up is a piece of news that is very close to my heart. Yeah. Probably Mike's as well, actually. You like Hellboy a lot. Guillermo del Toro moving forward with Hellboy 3 talks. He held a poll on Twitter 2 nights ago.
It wasn't a poll. That was just yes or more yes.
Yeah, that's true. Well, you still vote on it if you don't want it. And he said if this gets 100,000 votes, then I'll go into some serious talks with Ron Perlman and Mike Mignola. Mm-hmm. Mike Mignola is the guy who created Hellboy. They have the comics. And it got 132,000 in 24 hours, plus a post on Ron Perlman's Facebook page that he said he'll add to that if you like this post on my Facebook page, which added another 60,000 to that.
It was just a freaking promotional thing. You don't host a poll that says yes or yes.
Yes, you do. So in case anyone accidentally clicks no. You just don't vote if you don't want to say no. But this is great. I like Hellboy 3 a lot. They've been he's tried to get this off the ground.
You like Hellboy 3?
Oh, I like Hellboy a lot. Sorry. Oh. I mean, I'm assuming I like Hellboy 3. He's been trying to get this off the ground almost like ever since the second one.
I just want more Monster Del Toro. That's the thing. Like everything Del Toro since fucking Golden Army hasn't had that mystical classic feel. Like there's the murder ghost red building fucking
Crimson Peak.
That thank you, which was beautiful.
Yeah,
but it still wasn't. It was Del Toro-y, but it wasn't Del Toro. Pacific Rim.
I think that movie was like 110% cranked up Del Toro.
I don't know. There's just something about like Pan's Labyrinth, Hellboy, that has that flair that's his. Lots of spirals.
They're a little more like fairy tale, I think, is what you're...
Yeah, and more gunky and like gross things. Like in Pacific Rim, I didn't identify Del Toro as the director until they got to Bone Town or whatever the fuck it was. Or
the Neo Tokyo was?
Yeah, like with all the bones and the like they're selling the organs and shit. That was like the fucking troll market. I was like, this is Del Toro's work. You know, that is his visual that I always love and I want to see, and I want to have more of that. And it's usually when he's left to his devices to create films like that we get to see it. I literally the characters could just shut up and stand still while he makes things move. You know, and I mean, please.
He just has a fucking moving JPEG on the screen for 3 hours. So convinces some asshole.
It's just Ron Perlman just shows up in like fucking Hellboy outfit and sits down and
starts flexing in front of the screen. Ah!
And then David Hyde Pierce, I think, inside of the.
It was David Hyde Pierce the first time, and then it was Doug Jones in the second one.
Well, we'll put David Hyde Pierce because I like him more.
Same.
Inside of Abe. He just sits down, just sort of like having tea, and then like this like rolling screen, just literally like on 2 rollers, just rolling by with artwork that Del Toro's done.
Yes.
They just look up every once in a while. They're like, ta-da!
I would see that.
Yeah,
I would totally see that. Anyways, this is just cool little tidbit of information there. Obviously, if this happens, it's not going to be happening for another probably fucking 3 years. Who knows?
Yeah.
Whatever. Okay, next up is Playdead, the creators of Limbo and Inside. Co-founder paid $7.2 million to leave the company after a power struggle. This is interesting. It's a small studio. It's a small indie studio, right? They made like 2 games in the last fucking 10 years. Both did very well critically. Like Limbo did really well, and Inside's doing even better. Yeah. Inside's winning a lot of Game of the Year awards.
Yeah.
So here's what happened. Blah, blah, blah. The conflict started in 2015 when Patty felt that the last couple of years had been a bit silent at the office for my temper. You make a new game every 4th or 6th
for
year.
His temper?
That's what it said. So not much is going on.
It was too quiet because I'm angry.
It's also it's translated. I guess they're Danish. The resolution to the conflict broke down over who signed the rights of the games. Since 2015, the 2 creators were not on speaking terms and only communicated through lawyers, where each party tried to gain control of the company. Oh wow! I'm surprised Inside turned out as good as it did then. You know, holy fuck.
Well, 2 people are in front of it going, mine, mine, mine.
On the 10th of November, 2015, Arndt Jensen wrote, after heavy consideration, I have to find other avenues to continue my creative activities through. This shocked Patty, who then removed Jensen as the executive from Playdead's CVR registry, since it was clear to him that Jensen didn't want to work there anymore. The lawyers disagreed with this, and it meant that he only resigned as creative director, not as co-owner of the company. After some time, the Danish Business Authority had to force Patty out due to continued disagreement between the 2 parties. Patty was paid $15 million for 49% of the company, and Jensen refuses to comment. Holy fuck, Jesus Christ.
Okay, so this is a bit extreme. Like, they've been going on for a while.
Yeah, that's even crazier that like it turned out to be this Game of the Year style game it did, with the creators talking only between lawyers.
Well, I mean, when you get down to past production, I mean, how much influence are they going to have?
I guess that's true. They got all the actual people
working on it. And you're talking about like a small studio, an India studio, where everyone else is working on it for years. Like, everyone's got their input. It's probably more of a team effort than these 2. Besides, they apparently spend most of the time screaming at each other than working on the game.
Yeah. It's just crazy that, like, this is a story you expect to hear out of, like, Activision or Ubisoft or a big company like...
I mean, how much is a fucking franchise even worth? I admit, they probably did great, you know? Like,
Limbo made a lot of money.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, like...
I mean, it's a $10 game. Yeah. Like, that's the thing. They're
like, how much are you talking about at the end of the day? Like, not that much, because that money gets divided, has to pay for fucking salaries, etc.
Yeah.
Blah, blah. What are you talking about being the owner of?
Yeah, it's super strange. Just a crazy story to me, yeah. Like, and now just like this came out like 2 days ago, and then now just on Twitter they're teasing a new game, some space moon thing. It's just a piece of art.
No, but I mean, like, if you're fighting over like whether or not you own Final Fantasy at Square Enix, you got something. You know, you got something to fight for.
That's true.
You know, like if you want to be the guy who created Final Fantasy and you legally want that to be the thing that you're known for, then yeah, you should fight fucking tooth and nail to get that if you're supposed to. But if you're supposed to be like, Limbo's mine, it's like...
Well, he was fighting for not creative director, but co-owner of the company, which is, I guess, what the whole kerfuffle was about.
Yeah, but still.
I mean, if the company, he got $50 million payout for being forced out, like, that's...
Yeah.
You know? You clearly want a piece of that shit. Alright, now up next, this is a small bit of info, we're not going to talk about it too much. Kratos' son in God of War is named after, or actually is, a brother-killing king of Greece.
What?
Kratos will keep his Greek heritage close with his son named Atreus in the new God of War. Cory Barlog confirmed this detail via Twitter after a fan spotted the name in the MP3 metadata for the dramatic overture that played at the game's E3 reveal. Someone found his fucking name in the fucking MP3 data. MP3 data.
Yeah.
Well,
that's not the most conducive name for calling out.
That Arteus?
How is it spelled?
Atreus. Atreus?
Atreus.
Who fucking
But even then, fucking whoever you are, get over here.
That's why he's going to be shouting, boy, a lot. That name may sound familiar if you're interested in Greek mythology. Atreus was the son of Pelops, who himself was the grandson of Zeus, not far off from our Kratos, who turned out to be one of Zeus's many illegitimate children. Atreus was banned from his homeland after murdering one of his brothers in an ill-conceived power play, and through his wanderings eventually became the king of Mycenae. Family intrigue and drama, blah, blah, blah. That's interesting. That could totally just be them pulling a random Greek name, or that could tie into the storyline of God of War. Who knows? We don't know. That's why we're going to fucking move on.
Well, I think that, it probably doesn't... He's probably not a Greek kid. He just probably named the kid. Or if it's his, legitimately, right?
Yeah. Well, that's what we don't know. That's the thing. Did he have this kid with a Norse woman, and the kid's like half Greek, half Norse?
Either way, it doesn't matter, because obviously this kid doesn't have that history attached to the name, because he's 6.
Well, no. That could be like where he's going.
No.
You know what I mean? Why? Why don't you think this?
Oh, you mean like the character will go into in the future?
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
So you think the son would take over from Kratos?
Or kill his brother, or maybe there's a brother out there somewhere, and he kills that thing, and like, who knows?
Kratos just tossed that one out, he just picked them both up at the same time and was like, yeah.
Who fucking knows? Kratos fucked a woman, she gave birth off the side of a cliff, and he was like, shit. Well, that one's dead, and it didn't die because it's a god, and then that brother kills it. Like, I don't know. I'm just saying it could happen in the future. Obviously, yeah, in the past 6 years of this child's life, Mike, he didn't kill a brother. Unless he killed him in the womb or something, and then that's the power play they're making. Like, I don't know. That's what we're not going to talk about.
Just see him diving over the cliff for it. Ah.
He could.
Or it's just because like she's like a god herself, and he's a god and all that, or a god is like characters. She just fires out baby like cannons. So he's like he's prepping, and then like one he just misses one. He's like, fuck. That one's gone.
Shit. Is there any more in there? You only got one shot.
And she comes out one day, she's like, I think I have septuplets. No!
I guess we only got 2 of them.
Yeah. He's like set up nets and like walls. And...
Yes.
He's got like catcher's mitts on, and he's just like, alright, here we go.
I'm catching the boys.
It's like China.
God. Alright, moving on. Gearbox, the studio famous for making Borderlands and most recently Battleborn, the Overwatch clone kind of thing.
Yeah.
Gearbox's new marketing strategy for Battleborn: endorse its porn. Randy Pitchford, who's kind of a weird guy in general, he's tweeted out, very not safe for work, but I have received reports that Battleborn Rule 34 is now a thing on Reddit. And he links it. And everyone thinks this is the weirdest marketing strategy to a failing game that they've ever seen.
Yeah. It is slightly clever. I mean, if you propagate, hell, Sonic wouldn't have survived if it wasn't for the atrocities that were done to him. But it's true.
I guess that's true. But that, popped up organically. Everyone thinks that this dude made, a fake account on Reddit and then, made it himself and was like, oh, look.
Look, porn.
Because apparently it was only created, 6 hours before he linked it.
Oh.
Yeah. It's not like it was a thing that was already thriving or something.
Yeah.
It was a bare bones, subreddit.
Oh.
Which is even more sad.
Yeah.
If that's the case.
If you're like, I can find all of it. He's just scouring DeviantArt.
That's the thing. If it was a natural thing and he was just like, oh wow, I didn't know there's porn of our game. Of course there's porn of your game. You have a game.
Yeah.
Or you have a thing on the internet. There's porn of it.
You made a character probably wearing nothing with armor and giant titties.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, this is fucking. It's just a weird piece of news that I enjoyed. Would you do this?
No.
No, right? Yeah. Just want to get on the same page. This is
Well, I mean, if you're really that proud, you can just be like, look at my character's fuck. Look at the greatness that is here.
I would start linking things. Just be like, please don't do this.
Or you could just be appreciative, looking over standing at the edge of a cliff, and he's like, "This, I have created this." And it's it pans over. It's just all of his characters humping. This mass orgy of metal and grinding gears.
Announcing Battleborn 2. All right, next up.
This turns to be his next game.
Battleborn. Next up.
Guns that fire dicks at things.
Oh my god. That's the Saints Row thing to do. Respawn, creators of Titanfall, the senior designer when asked if Titanfall could run on the Switch, "Fuck no," was his response. I like the guys at Respawn. Just recently,
what did they do?
They did Titanfall.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, just recently, a couple months ago, someone else asked that another high-up guy was in a room getting an interview, and they said oh, will Titanfall 3 come soon? And then he was like, I don't know. And then and then the PR guy was like, "Oh well, we're committed to the franchise in the future, and going forward, we're keeping Titanfall in mind." Blah blah. Blah. And then the guy he just said whatever the fuck that means. And I was like, these guys don't care. That's great. Yeah. I love this. Because
I would have done it as a joke. I would have had a whole press conference, set up an entire stage that looks like the Nintendo stage conference, and come out and it would have been like, "We are definitely contemplating fucking not having this on the Switch."
I didn't name my child Luigi. Mic drop. Respawn is made of...
That's fucking dumb.
Are you Italian? Don't touch that name. So Respawn is made up of a bunch of ex-Call of Duty guys. Actually, specifically the guys who made Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare.
It's actually a little bit kind of explains why they're like that.
Well, I mean, for better or for worse, they created the game that influenced an entire generation of games.
True.
Call of Duty 4 was super influential for multiplayer and single player FPS at the time. They were kind of the kings of that for a while there. They made Modern Warfare 1 and 2, and then there was a power struggle somewhere there, and they left and made Respawn.
Yep.
So I feel like they do kind of have a fuck you attitude.
Well, they probably should. I mean, that's just the thing is when it comes to games like that, you got Hideo Kojima who makes Metal Gear Solid, and he comes out, and of course he's all like, "Woo, I'm kooky," and you're like, "Of course you are." And then you see the fucking Call of Duty guys come out, and they're just middle fingers and
Switch, fuck no.
Monster drink and lots of bro fisting and shit.
Bro fisting.
Well, I don't know. What do overly heterosexual guys do?
What bro fisting out? Fisting.
What is it, bro pump? What is it? I don't know.
Fist pumping.
Fist pumping?
Yeah, you mean giving nuts to someone else?
Yeah, the bumping of the fist.
Fist bumping. Yeah, I guess that's true. Fist bumping, not fisting. Fisting is that. Fisting is another thing entirely. They're bump fisting. Oh fuck no! Don't Google that, kids.
They get together. They're all sitting down. And it's it's time for some bro fisting.
We have to do it. They expect it from us.
We're bros.
We're fucking Respawn. All right. Last piece of news here. Fox opens full-fledged video game division called Fox Next.
Bravo. On that name.
Great. Now, the only reason I bring this up is because it's a huge movie, publisher getting into video games. That's news in and of itself. Mm-hmm. But let's take a look down the franchises that 20th Century Fox owns. They own and they can do whatever they want with. Alien.
The entire Alien franchise?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, they've done lots of games, but they need to do a good one.
Alien Isolation is pretty good.
No, Alien Isolation is a good one.
Alien vs. Predator.
That's the thing. I just watched game footage of the last Alien vs. Predator 3 or something.
It's 2? No, 3. You're right.
It was just I was like, what the fuck is going on? There's suddenly a fucking alien predator hybrid, and then suddenly your predator your alien turns into a queen, because that's a thing they do.
Oh, are you talking about the movie?
No.
Oh, you're talking about the game.
The game.
Oh, I didn't even know that was in that game.
Yeah, it's the game starts off and you play as the alien, you get marked as 6, as number 6 in the experiments, and then you play as 6.
Oh.
They always keep on remembering you. And then at the end of the game, you're the surviving alien that survives all of this shit, and then you just cocoon a bunch of humans and then suddenly split in half and become a queen. That's an option for aliens apparently.
Oh.
And I'm that just makes them 10 times. That's an interesting idea, but nothing said they could do that.
Yeah. They're just creating their own lore within the games.
Yeah.
They own American Dad. They own Avatar.
Airbender?
No.
Oh.
The blue people one.
Okay.
Dr. Dolittle. I would like in a game where you can just wander around talking to animals. No plot.
No.
Just day-to-day living Dr. Dolittle's life.
You're just going literally insane. They don't say anything of worth.
Yeah, that would be fucking annoying, just hearing pigeons or whatever.
Yeah, just literally be a squirrel being nut.
The pigeons still just no.
Yeah.
It's just more intense. Family Guy, Futurama, the Home Alone franchise. Hey, now let's get into this. Let's break this down for a second. Home Alone, it could be like a tower defense game almost, where you have to set fucking traps.
There was a Home Alone game on the SNES, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was.
Yeah.
It was a platformer.
Was it?
I think it was just a regular ass platformer.
No,
I think, as if my memory serves. You could do a tower defense game where you're Macaulay Culkin and you're fucking setting up traps. Or it could be a Saw game where you're fucking...
Or just literally do it as contemporary with Macaulay Culkin now as a coked out drug addict.
Even better!
Sitting out on the top of a fucking drugged out drug den apartment building.
I'd still take that. I'd take a fucking movie about that.
And he just goes nuts and just starts throwing people downstairs and stuff. I did it when I was a kid.
It's Macaulay Culkin playing, or it's like he's getting revenge on the fucking. He's hunting them now, and they have to be wary of him. Like that'd be a fucking great movie.
They're in their own house, and he's just like Spider-Maning against the corner at the top, staring down.
Yes. Yes. 64 slices of American cheese. Yeah. Next up,
61.
They have Ice Age, the entire franchise.
That's been made in the games.
Yep. ID4 franchise. No idea what that is.
ID?
ID4? No idea. MASH. Y'all want a MASH game?
There is a game for MASH.
Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure what you do with that game.
The only thing I don't get about the whole Planet of the Apes thing is they're still going with it, but we already know the conclusion.
Yeah, I don't think that makes it any worse.
No, but if you're going to make a game or make anything else, you're just basically like, look what happened in this 5 minutes.
Well, I just don't, is it going to be a third-person monkey shooter? It's just Gears of War, but you're an ape? I'll play it, but
Duck Hunt with apes, as these apes keep jumping up, and you're like...
Oh, I see, you want to be a human. I wanted to be an ape with a gun. But yeah, I guess you'd logically be the humans, fighting a losing war.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright. I want to be a monkey on a horse. Predator franchise. Now, Predator is an untapped property for video games, I don't mean untapped as in he's never had one. He's had a few. I just think there's so much potential there for a great game.
You'd have to do it really interesting. They'd probably lean towards first person for it, which makes sense. But you would have to make a really cool stealth game with it. I mean, that's also the juxtaposition for it, though, is that...
You could be a fucking teenage predator, and you have to go to different planets for different hunts to make yourself an alpha, or whatever the fuck, or whatever their culture is.
Yeah, no, right? That's a good idea, totally. But that's the other thing, is, Predator at the same time, you gotta ask yourself, why the fuck are they ever stealthing in the first place? Because, they're a walking tank. They're like, I could get shot. It doesn't matter. But they're like, but I'll go invisible. Why would you need to hide? But nevertheless, that's a juxtaposition for the game, because you're playing Predator, you also want to play this character that's going to just run out, balls out, and just be like, bah!
Yeah, 40 missiles.
Yeah.
Fucking suicide bombing.
But I think a really, really cool stealth game would be really neat to do off Predator. But again, that just sounds boring, it's been done. There has to be something really cool you do.
Yeah, with the Predator, yeah. There's got to be something there, right?
Yeah, there's something there, but I'm not pulling it out of my head right now, but...
Next up, they have The Simpsons, and The Simpsons had good games before.
I love Simpsons games. Classic Simpsons games. Is there ever a 3D Simpsons game?
There was a Simpsons Hit and Run.
Yeah,
there was that Crazy Taxi clone.
Yeah.
And they also did Simpsons Wrestling on the PS1.
No, but there was one that was in a town at some point, wasn't there? You actually went around Springfield, in a town in Springfield, obviously.
The only one I can think of is Hit and Run. You mean Grand Theft Auto style,
yeah.
Open... I don't think so.
That would be pretty cool.
That could be cool. If you just put a bunch of classic moments from seasons 1 to 10 in a fucking Simpsons game.
Yeah.
You bet your ass that we're going to fucking play that.
Oh, yeah.
You hear us on this fucking podcast. Throwing out goddamn Simpsons references all the time. Half you probably don't understand. The X-Files franchise.
Yeah,
I don't know.
You could telltale that.
You could definitely telltale it. I feel like that's the easiest go-to, though. It's probably the best, if you want to get actual character development.
Or Until Dawn.
Yes.
Yeah.
There you go. Yes.
Yeah.
There you go. Until Dawn guys, fucking do X-Files. That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
They also have Night at the Museum, which is that Ben Stiller movie where he's in a museum.
We're going to skip that one because,
The Omen.
The Omen?
That little kid, Damien, he's the new Satan. He's a small child. You ever seen that? Classic, 19? All right. Anyway, Die Hard is the last one on the film, which would actually be...
amazing.
Has there not been a Die Hard fucking video game?
No.
It feels like there should have been.
Maybe there was something on the Super Nintendo or maybe the PlayStation 1 or something like that.
Yeah, probably.
But, nothing I remember. But, yeah, fucking Metal Gear Solid me some Die Hard.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
It'd be awesome. I want to jump off the side of a building using a fire hose as not a tightrope. That's a rope.
It's a rope. Just a rope. Just a rope, people. And I would like to play Bruce Willis.
Remember, did you watch the fourth? Well, obviously you watched the fourth Die Hard, right?
I don't know which ones I've seen now.
The one with the hacker.
Yeah?
Justin Long played.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So I really like that Die Hard all the way. I was watching it, I'm like, wow, they brought Die Hard back. It's amazing. So good. Why is he on a Harrier? The moment that fucking plane showed up, you were like, what? This that whole scene. And it's funny, at the moment I started watching it again, because I loved rewatching it, I would just, hit the chapter selection, select right afterwards, cut that out. Perfect movie. Perfect movie. It was literally like, Bruce Willis was like, and now I gotta fight a Harrier. And they're all like, you gotta do what he says. You don't want to piss him off. You know?
I like the idea that Mike is selectively editing his own movies at home. He's like, nope.
Yeah, I do that all the time.
Nope.
We just jump scenes. Sometimes movies get way better.
Yeah, this was terrible.
Yeah, this whole thing was just gone.
Just move forward. Just
you
as we're doing
Ghostbusters, just take out the whole dance scene and makes it at least 20% better.
Ghostbusters?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, at the very end there.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, cut at the end of the movie, just end it like right before the climax type thing.
They just
it's like rising action, and then end of the day.
They all just pull up and they're like pull out their guns and like, here we go. And clicks to the end. Wow, that was hard.
It was pretty good. I feel like it was missing an ending. All right, we're moving on to the break, and right after that, we get to hear about all the. What are we fucking doing? All the Sony revivals that we're going to be talking about, or what they could possibly revive.
Well, we want to have, a list of the revivals. Will they be good? Will they be bad? Are they going to be the future? Will they blow us away with something?
Are they going to be the future?
The children are the future.
Sony is their child. Hello and welcome back to the Pens and Pixels Popcast, second segment. And we're going to be talking about what's Sony going to do next? What's Sony going to revive next?
What's that thing they're going to drop at E3 and you're going to be like, what?
Yeah, what's their one more thing? Because for a couple of years now, they've just been having bomb-ass E3 presentations, you know, like just...
3 years? 2 years? Just 2 years.
It's either 2 or 3, I forget. But like, they've just, like... Last year's was really the best. It was like no talking at all, like very little stage presentations. They let the games do all the talking.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, here's our live orchestrated fucking God of War reveal, and then another fucking trailer after that, and another trailer, and you're just like, they're gonna keep going, oh my god! It comes out to be like, Crash Bandicoot's back, and then they're like, wah! And everyone, like, all the Crash fans lose their mind, and then fucking, they just keep going with more trailers. There was barely anyone on stage for that entire thing.
Yeah. And
that's what causes good, like, so much goodwill. You know, the PS4 is outselling the Xbox by a large margin, and I always feel, maybe this is biased because I'm super into this part of the industry, but I always feel like goodwill comes from the hardcore gamers and just kind of spreads out from there. You know what I mean?
Well, it's always a reaction. I mean, the comic book movies are only as big as they are because the comic book fans are like, what? This is so much like my thing I love. And they're like, why do you love it? Because it's good. Let's go see it. Ah, and they all run. Like, that's the reaction. If the nerds don't freak out about it,
it radiates out and sets the tone for that thing.
Yeah, like what we like ends up becoming what everyone else will like. Because at the end of the day, we churn through so much shit that if we go, it's gotta be good. Yeah,
so it's you know, and Sony's just been nailing the last couple of years. They brought back Shenmue 3, Final Fantasy 7 Remake, Last Guardian re-reveal, fucking Street Fighter 5 was exclusive there, Resident Evil 7 was a reveal. Crash Bandicoot, Shadow of the Beast, Wipeout Omega, Ace Combat 7, Power Apple, Loco Roco, Patapon. List goes on.
Yeah.
So, we're going to be going down a list from a lovely form, NeoGaf. They have a giant list here of things that they think could, blow the pants off people at the next E3, perhaps.
Yeah.
And we're going to be going down it. We're going to be kind of like saying what is the most likely.
Yeah.
And also, because there's a lot in here that, like, we would personally like to see come back, but I also don't think is a big enough reveal for, like, the mainstream to be like,
is it really actually that exciting, or is this just nerd talk at this point?
Exactly.
Are we scraping the bottom of the barrel to think that it would make an impact?
Exactly. Like, there's Tomba on this list. Look, I like Tomba.
Yeah.
Tomba's not like, one more thing, and then they reveal this pink-haired caveman on the screen.
Everyone's like, and no one's going to remember it, you know?
Yeah, exactly. 90% of people are like, why? This is not a big deal.
Yeah.
All right, so let's start at the top here. Agent. Now, Agent is a game that Rockstar, the creators of Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead Redemption, revealed on PS3. Just a logo. That was going to be an exclusive to PS3 Rockstar game. Literally no word on it since. They've been tight-lipped, as Rockstar is. No one's mentioned it at all. Mm-hmm. But the rumor is that, like, Rockstar still owes Sony an exclusive because they paid for one and this game never materialized and all this shit.
Could be.
So I don't know if, like... Because Agent at this point, like, I don't know if you heard of it?
No.
Like, that's the thing. I don't think many people have heard of it. I don't think that would be, like, a huge deal unless you're, like, really hardcore and you remember that from, like, 2007 or something. No,
it wouldn't have an impact. Like, it would be a nerd crowd favorite, a gamer crowd favorite.
Well, I think an exclusive reveal by Rockstar, no matter what, would be a big deal. But it's just, Agent itself, I don't think would be the
I don't
thing.
even think that the headlines, that's the thing. The headline, when it comes out, if it looked like an awesome game, the headlines would just be like, Rockstar releases new IP. Like, ooh, not like Rockstar finally releases Agent. Like, no one's going to be like, what was that?
Exactly. That's what I kind of think, too.
Yeah.
Next up is Siphon Filter.
That was the failed competitor to, you were mentioning, what's the other?
Splinter Cell?
Splinter Cell.
At
the end of the day, it's kind of just the same thing.
It was a PS1 game. It was stealth, and like there are people who are fond of those games, but I honestly mistook it for that lesbian game with the two girls. It was called Fear Effect.
Yeah,
and they just like existed, and all the ads were very like enticing to a young 12-year-old boy type thing.
They pushed titties together.
Yeah, that was like basically the ads.
Yeah.
Medieval.
That was really popular. That made it to the PSP eventually, where they were trying to continue it, and they were fun.
I like medieval games, yeah, for sure. And he made an appearance in Super Smash PlayStation, whatever the fuck it's called.
Super Smash PlayStation ripoff.
PlayStation Battle Royale, yeah. That thing. Again,
would that have a big impact? There's a big medieval love out there, but it's
so,
still culty.
Maybe it's not as big as like, maybe it's not like the one more thing, but maybe it's like in the middle of the presentation. They're like, we think a lot of you old PlayStation fans are really going to appreciate this next one, and it's like a fucking reboot of Medieval or something. And it's this big 3D action adventure,
Yeah, I can see that. It was cute. It was fun. It was neat. It was very Tim Burton, Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yep.
And it was kind of a cute, fun game. It would be an interesting one to bring back, but it would not jaw drop.
No, I don't think so. It would be like a kind of a cool footnote to a presentation where you'd be like, okay, Medieval. All right, that's neat. Ridge Racer. I honestly thought they kept making those games.
I thought they did too. I just stopped caring.
Yeah, the last thing I remember is from Sony's presentation years ago, like, Ridge Racer. There's a fucking meme. Whatever.
But they love Ridge Racer out there.
Yep.
I can't make a call on that one because I don't have a following into any racing games. And, like, people are out there freaking out over the next fucking Gran Turismo.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm like, great. That's
neither of us are big racing guys. I'll love a game of Mario Kart. I'll 100% that game, but that's about as far as I go.
Like the next most higher rendered car that drives like a real car. Go drive your car.
Those cars are getting awfully realistic looking. Shenmue HD, which is apparently happening. Sega actually registered a domain for shenmuehd.com, so I think that's going to be a thing. And that would make a lot of sense with Shenmue 3 coming, that they would port and re-release them.
Again, not a jaw dropper.
No, that would be something at next E3 if they show an update on Shenmue 3. They're like, also Shenmue 1 and 2 HD are coming out. Yeah, that's whatever. Yeah. Onimusha,
which is a good one.
There's one. That's a neat one.
Yeah, because like that was the first release on the PS2.
Yep.
And it was a hack and slasher, and it was a little bit dry, but it was still a fun game.
It was fun. I like the feudal Japan stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
one of the things is that they can't bring it out now that Neo's out. Because that would be what Onimusha would be now.
Yeah, you're kind of right.
Yeah, like they lost their chance.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh man. I was all excited to talk about Onimusha, but yeah, you're right. That would just
Neo has just been done, so Neo is Onimusha new.
And if you don't know what Neo is kind of a Dark Souls
ninja samurai
inspired thing. Really cool game. Even Mike enjoyed the time he spent with it, and he's not a Dark Souls fan. So go check that out. It's actually coming out soon. It's like early February.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should go check that out. There's a demo out right now, an updated demo. If you're at all interested in that kind of stuff. Yeah, updated demo. Yeah, they're doing really good stuff with that because they released like 2 other demos and like improved on the feedback the fans gave. Like
Final Fantasy. I mean, Final Fantasy's battle system would have been shit if they didn't do that.
Well, it's just always Team Ninja that did it, and Team Ninja just hasn't been good for so long in my mind because the creator left. Like Neo looks like it's gonna be like really good. A lot of people are already really digging it. So, if you want an Onimusha fix, go pick up Neo.
Yeah.
Daytona USA 3. I don't
see. No.
Can you imagine that was the one more thing? People would riot in the streets.
Yeah, they'd be like, you know that face for The Simpsons where Homer says something to Bart and Lisa, and they go like, "That's really sad." Like, "Oh my god, I can't believe you said that." Like,
yeah,
like that would be the reaction of the whole crowd.
Yeah, that Los Angeles would be on fire. Like that would not be good.
Just have that. That's the little like GIF meme is. He comes out and he's like Daytona USA 3, and then just a horizon line of fucking LA and just fire.
Yes, it's like just Mad Max apocalypse outside.
The fucking owner, the CEO of Sony, is just standing above it, and he's like, I don't understand.
There's actually a bunch of like racing games on here. Outrun 3, which is a Sega racing game. Roll Cage, Jet Moto. Like none of these are going to be jaw droppers. Wild Arms.
That would be neat, but again, Wild Arms was culty in its day.
Yes, it was. That's another one where you might... It's like You do the big reveal right off the start, but in the second game is like a Wild Arms reboot. And people,
Yeah.
and then there's some people who are like, oh yeah, I would really like to play
And there's
that.
a couple of people who get up and do like the fucking Street Fighter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. They really fucking celebrate it, but yeah, they're like two people in the crowd.
Yeah. Well, if anyone doesn't know, Wild Arms is a classic JRPG all the way. 3D PS2.
They had a PS1.
Yeah, Wild Arms 1 was PS1.
It was
and
it
Wild
was
Arms
PS1 and PS2 games.
Yeah. They were fun. They were a lot of fun. They were quite good. And I loved the whole Western magic JRPG mix. It was neat.
Yeah, it was really neat. It was always weird to me that it wasn't bigger than it, But I mean, there were a lot of sequels.
They were
so
overshadowed at the time. If you think about the release times, it was around Final Fantasy VII and like Dark Cloud and all that shit was all releasing around the same time whenever those games came out. So
That's
it was
true.
like, all right, you don't have a chance.
Spyro.
Yeah, I could totally see that. That could be a hit too. People
Yeah,
fucking love that dragon.
The thing is, like, I'd want to see Insomniac do it, and to bring him back to justice. And Insomniac is working on a Spider-Man game, which is a very important thing. So I don't want them to like, even after they were done Spider-Man and say that Spider-Man game is awesome, I don't want them to be like, and now we're doing Spyro. Like I would be like, no, fucking make Spider-Man 2, please, make Venom.
Yeah, but in the judgment of a reveal, and everyone would be like, oh, they would.
Yeah, you're right. Spyro is like same level as Crash type thing, where it's like that era, and he was like one of the mascots that people recognize, right?
Oh, yeah, and I love Spyro. I had a great time with like 3 of the like 6.
The first 3 were really good.
Yeah.
The first 3 were made by Insomniac, and then after that, it went to some other fuckers.
Yeah.
Viburnum, which is a weird like fucking rabbit game. That's never gonna.
I have no clue what that was. So.
Final Fight. No.
What was that?
Final Fight is a side scroller by Capcom, like beat 'em up, kind of like Double Dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's actually characters from Final Fight made it into Street Fighter. Cody, Guy, and Mike Hagar.
Yeah.
Those games are fun. I enjoyed them, but like I can't see them bringing back a beat 'em up, like updated and making it be like super cool.
No.
The only reason that would come out is because of that relationship between Capcom and Sony right now.
There was another game that just got revamped like that from the last one, because there was a lot of those revamps from one of the things, and it was the same thing. It was like a side scroller beat 'em up.
They did a remastered version, or like a kind of remastered version of like Double Dragon recently.
Yeah, stuff like that. Like that again. It's going to be part of the like in between. Like, hey, by the way, we have other things than just giant hit games.
Yeah, it would be part of like a montage of indies or something.
We're not the just monstrosity AAA games. We have stuff for you indie gamers.
Yeah, exactly. I can't see that. Devil May Cry, yes, 1,000 times yes. That would be a fucking show stealer.
That would be a riot.
Because no one thinks Devil May Cry is coming back.
No,
I would fucking cry.
But here's a question. Devil May Cry could come back, and it would come back, but do you think they would just literally keep the system? Or would they pull a God of War and try and revamp it into some sort of open world or adventure-based game? And would that be a bad thing? I know you're hooked on your slash combo.
So I'm really hooked on like the Devil May Cry 3 and 4 combat systems. I really enjoy those. The new Devil May Cry reboot kind of like took those systems and toned them down, like made them a little like worse, honestly. Still a fun game. But they kind of went for a more narrative adventure type thing, like really cinematic and stuff. And it wasn't... The story was just kind of bad. I don't know. So what do you mean adventure game? Like just kind of like more like God of War? Like...
Well, it can be corridor E. Like you need to have like a space in front of you. Even heck, the way the world was set up in that in itself is fine. But like a bit more like God of War, where there's something more going on than Dante slashes demons. And like you're not just solving.
I love the.
You're not just solving puzzles, slashing demons, solving puzzles, slashing demons.
I kind of like that though. I don't know. Again, I'm so hardcore into Devil May Cry that I can't even give you like a fair. I like God of War too. So
I'm talking Sony gives it that spit shine where like God of War comes out and they're like, we changed God of War, but guess what? It'll make you spooge.
Yeah, if it's the kind of change that like I would be willing to accept it, because I'm already willing to accept that Devil May Cry is dead.
Yeah.
So like if it came back and even in a cool form like the new God of War type thing, I would be behind it.
Because I would rather that, because I love the franchise, but I've never been big on to just hack and slash and count combos and slaughter 1,000 demons. It's not my type of game.
I fucking love the story of like 3 is great. Like he's just sitting shirtless in his fucking office and he eats a piece of pizza, and then all these like Grim Reapers come in and like 9 sights are in him, and then he just like goes over the jukebox and he's like, it's time to party, and you're like, what is happening? Why is this a game? Fucking incredible.
It was a good opening.
I hope they would keep shit like that in there, because that's really what I enjoyed about Devil May Cry, story-wise anyways.
Well, I mean, that's fine. Make it goofy.
Yeah.
But, like, just maybe toss him out into a city and, like, let's have some exploration go on and, like, some life. And, you know, like, he fights all these demons and there's never a human being around at all. Like,
there's usually one lady. He's kind of like Bond in that way, where he gets, like, one lady per game.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I would be willing, again, if it was that good, if they pulled the thing off and it was, like, kind of like when we first saw God of War, and we were like, holy shit. Yes, I would be behind that. Oh man, yeah, Devil May Cry. Devil May Cry is like my fucking my pearl, oyster, ruby. There's some phrase I'm forgetting.
I don't know. What
Moving on. Time Crisis VR. I like Time Crisis in the arcade. No one's ever gonna be like,
no. That's
not gonna be the number one thing on anyone's list coming out of E3. So I can't imagine.
We're all gonna be like, I remember playing that board, waiting for a movie to start.
Silent Hill. Yeah. So they're never going to bring back Silent Hills, or PT, as it was. But even if Silent Hill got revived at this point, I think that would be a big deal.
It would be a big deal, but they need time. Like, I can't see it happening.
Yeah, it would be like a couple years.
Like, we've got the whole Konami PT Death Stranding conundrum that's happening now. And with all of that, like, if you release Silent Hill now and they're like, what the fuck happened to Silent Hill? You gotta wait until that's literally like, alright,
that's ancient history.
We've had Death Stranding, like, you know, Kojima's off being Kojima, the world has settled, and it's still not. Everyone's still crying that there's some potential that game is gonna come out.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you. But this other poster says, imagine if Sony saves all the old Konami IPs and makes them PlayStation exclusive.
Yeah, a few of these.
Suikoden.
Yes.
Metal Gear. Castlevania.
Yeah.
Contra.
No.
Silent Hill.
Yeah.
Zone of the Enders.
Maybe.
And Gradius.
No.
Gradius? Whatever.
Gradius. Suikoden was an amazing RPG series. I fucking got hooked on that. Now, this is too indie to get a cheer for. So, again, releasing this wouldn't make the reaction. But I remember this game being so hardcore that those who were into JRPGs and playing the JRPGs from the PS1 and PS2 days, we would go to the rental store because it wasn't for sale anywhere in this fucking city. We tried to find copies to buy.
Suikoden?
Yeah. Didn't exist.
Huh.
There was a certain number of copies that came out here, and it was only in Japan, and you could only get non-English versions if you tried to order it online at the time. I don't know, maybe our searches sucked and we were dumb, but like I couldn't fucking find it. We would go to like, what is our little Canadian gaming like third-party store there back in the day. There's still one left on Bank Street.
Electronics Boutique.
They're basically like that now. It was the other one back in the day. It was a blue sign.
Best Buy. I don't know.
Doesn't matter. Like it was like a little indie game shop, and they used to have a whole franchise where they'd sell third-party games or resold games and stuff like that. Like, could never find it in there. Couldn't find it anywhere. We went to like fucking Toronto and went through like the Markham Mall, and we were going through like ripped CD cases trying to find it, and like never fucking found it. Like, didn't exist. And it would show up at a couple of rental stores, and we would rent it there. And we would just keep coming back and like putting it down and re-renting it. It's not even letting the late fee happen because we just had to have this game all the time. And
crazy.
Every time we would put it back and not get back in time to rent it before someone else got it, it would be gone for like 4 months. We would come in every day looking for it, being like, is it in? It's supposed to be back like 2 weeks ago. And then it would be like 4 months of waiting until it finally showed back up on the shelf and be like, fucking grab it.
I didn't know you're such a big Suikoden fan.
I really wasn't. It was just the hype behind this game that like there was only basically one copy being shared, and at the time I was always hanging out with my friend who lived in Elmer, and it was her rental shop that had it. It was the only place that did have it, so we kept on running over to grab it from there. So it was like this one game being shared between all the gamers in Elmer, and so the disc was being passed around between all of us. That's kind of what elevated it for me. But it was a really really fun RPG, and it had a very cool story. And there's some hardcore Suikoden fans.
I just remember seeing a bunch on the shelf before, like in my rental place, and it was like Suikoden 1, Suikoden 4, and there was like just a bunch of sequels and stuff, and I was like, holy fuck, this must be popular. I never really like got into them at all.
They're fun.
Let me paint you a picture, Mike, with this post here. Imagine next year they bring out Hideo Kojima, and he's like, I'm here to show more Death Stranding, and then the president of Sony walks out, and he's like, not so fast. He hands him a gift, like a beautifully wrapped little gift. Kojima undoes the bow, and it's all the rights to all these old Konami properties, and they're like, do with it what you will.
No.
And he's like, and he has he has his baby back, he's got Metal Gear, he's got fucking Castlevania to do his work on, you know?
No, it'd be way much better than this. The stage goes completely black, and a spotlight comes down, and the CEO of Konami is just bound up like the guy in fucking Doctor Strange, like in some sort of like bondage thing, completely naked. And then the next spotlight comes down, and it's just Kojima with a whip. And every single time he whips him, the screen pops up with a new IP.
Where I thought you were going with that was like a Reservoir Dogs scene, with like him dancing around and pouring gasoline on him. Do like a fucking burning on stage or something.
Yeah, whip and scream, ah! And then like another IP leak.
Stone of the Enders. I like that one. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of a crazy, like, way out there thing. It would obviously get a huge reaction.
Yeah.
If any one of these probably ended up in Sony's hands, but
well, Castlevania would be a huge cry. Like you'd have crying in the stands.
Metal Gear, obviously.
Metal Gear, obviously. Like those two are the two that on the list that would do it.
Silent Hill and Zone of the Enders, even I think, would get some hardcore people going.
It would get a good reaction.
Yeah. But you know, Konami's just been so weird lately. Like they're releasing a new Bomberman game on the Switch, even after they said we're not doing games anymore. Yeah. We're only gonna do fucking pachinko machines. They released a game on the Switch, so no idea what's going on. At some point, I do think Konami's just gonna get out of it, and they'll be like, here's our IPs, they're up for sale. Fucking do what you will.
Yeah.
And Sony would be smart to capture some of those.
Yeah.
They'll be high bidding for fucking Metal Gear though.
Yeah, if that ever happens. That's ways off.
But that would be those games would be a huge reaction.
Yeah.
Legend of Dragoon. A lot of people in this thread.
This is a huge one. I always thought that I was the only person who liked this game. But apparently, just because if you go through the thread or just type it in, everyone's like, where is this game? So this would actually get, like, crying in the stands. I'm surprised that that's a chance. And, like, yeah, I would give this a huge chance of happening and a huge reaction.
I can see a huge reaction for sure. I know there's a lot of hardcore.
Like, if I'm going to give my vote for one that's actually probably more likely, just because it's not one of those giant, really super popular IPs that they would take a risk on failing on. Because, like, God of War is huge. It was a big hit.
Yeah.
But it's tempered out, right? So when it came back, everyone was like, I never thought you'd ever do that.
Yeah.
Plus, I remember liking those games. Great. And you're allowed to change it, right? But, like, if you came back with, like, Metal Gear right now, and you're like, hey, we're changing it, and we're bringing it back, everyone's going to be like, what about Hideo? You know, like, it'd be weird. But Legend of Dragoon, yeah, fuck, Square Enix could totally do that. Rock that shit.
It's been a long time since Legend of Dragoon. The last one was on the Xbox, the first Xbox, not the Xbox One, the first Xbox.
There's only one Legend of Dragoon ever, and it was on PS1.
Oh, no, sorry, it's called Panzer Dragoon Saga.
That's a different game entirely.
It's not
nothing
the same thing?
Nothing to do with it.
Oh, okay, maybe
There's just literally one game, Legend of Dragoon, which leaves you on a cliffhanger ending, technically. And it was just that.
Oh, well then.
Yeah.
And you think this is likely to happen?
I think it's pretty likely to happen. I think it's got some steam.
Interesting.
And it'd be the one that I think would have a really interesting reaction.
The Getaway. This is fucking weird. It's a weird throwback to like a PS2 game came out in 2004, GTA clone. Not really sure.
Yeah.
Lemmings. Lemmings still exists, doesn't it?
No, Worms does.
Oh, that's what I'm thinking of. Worms.
Yeah.
Never mind. Yeah. Okay. Lemmings again. That's something you show in a montage of stuff. You know, that's not going to be the one more thing.
Yeah, totally.
Ape Escape. A lot of people in this fucking thread want Ape Escape.
I never liked that game.
No, I never had too much fondness for it myself.
Yeah.
Could you see like people getting a reaction? I know there clearly are fans. Like,
there would be a reaction.
Yeah,
there would be a reaction.
It would kind of be like the Crash Bandicoot segment again, right?
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like with Crash Bandicoot, some people are like, "Hey, that's neat," and the other people are like, "Ah!" Like that's the reaction. I think again, it's another tailor end of your presentation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Folklore. So you know what Folklore is?
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting ideas in that game. I mean, it would be cool to see it fleshed out. But again, it's not one.
It was never executed correctly. That game felt like it was broken.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
Maybe if they had this like dramatic reveal, this game that looks super dope, and at the end it's like Folklore, and you're like, oh shit. But like again, it could just be a new IP at that point.
Yeah,
probably.
That's like the fucking Prey thing, where they're like, it's still the same game, but it's nothing alike at all.
Dino Crisis.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I love Dino Crisis.
Yeah.
I honestly don't think it would get like the hugest reaction.
No.
But I think Dino Crisis is like just ripe for potential.
People love that game.
Yeah, I mean, just like fucking horror action game with dinosaurs would be fucking awesome. And I think I don't want to say this is like one of the more likely ones, but like with Capcom working so closely with Sony with Street Fighter V, they clearly have good business relationship, right? Resident Evil 7 was debuted on their stage. It's coming out on Xbox One, but it's being pushed real hard on PS4 and PSVR and stuff.
Yeah.
I could see something else happening with one of their IPs in the near future, where they reveal something like Maybe even Breath of Fire. No, that'll never happen.
Oh.
But, you know, Dino Crisis is a big action game. I could see that getting rebooted and people being like, look at the fucking dinosaurs, especially with Horizon on the horizon. Dinosaurs might be the next hot thing. Robo-dinos, whatever.
Dinosaurs are never the hot thing. Look at Jurassic Park. Everyone's like, dinos.
Well, we just don't have enough. We don't have enough dinosaurs in games, really. I mean, you know.
Yeah, but now we know they're feathered, so like.
You can make cool feathered dinosaurs.
No, I know, but that's the thing. Like that would be a neat way of trying to like evolve it.
Oh, I see. I see what you mean. Yeah, I don't know. I just think that like it's so much potential. The Resident Evil 6 was not a great game, but it had a good combat system where you were very agile, and I always thought that like when I was playing it, I was like, this is not very Resident Evil-y, but this could be really Dino Crisis-y. Is what I thought to myself in a very good sentence.
Dino Crisis-y.
Yeah. Last one on this list was Cool Borders.
That was a huge game.
I just can't see the reaction for a snowboarding game though.
Yeah, the sports game thing, like it's a very particular crowd. Like it's a popular large crowd, but it's like, you know, it'd be like the entire crowd and then like this section in the back would suddenly come up and it'd be a bunch of dudes be like, yeah, I got drunk to that.
Yeah, exactly. Like 4 bros in the back. Yeah. Bro fisting. Yeah, see what you've done? You've tainted that term forever.
They all get up and just bend over. Oh, yeah, bring back Cool Borders.
Cool Borders! Next up, again, same with the Sony and Capcom relationship, Okami 2.
That would be amazing.
So this was a game made by Clover Studios, who was owned by Capcom.
Yeah.
Clover ended up becoming Platinum, but Platinum does not own any of those games anymore, or own the IP to those. Capcom still owns them. So it would be a Capcom and Sony venture if that ever happened. And that, I think, it has such a striking look that I think even if, you know, you didn't know what Okami was.
It would be easy to bring back, too.
Yeah.
Like, it wouldn't require you to go in and be like, all right, this is like Horizon graphics. You'd be like, what the fuck? It's supposed to be a bit cartoony. I could even see that kind of hitting the Switch, which would be kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But this game, not only does it have the most passionate cult following I've ever seen for a game ever. Like, it's insane. These people fucking love this dog.
Wolf God, Amaterasu.
Yeah. But the game itself was so original. It was like, it totally took a run on the Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask kind of situation.
Yeah, it was a very Zelda-like game.
Very Zelda-like game. Very particular look. Annoying, but slightly kind of memorable and catchy vocal tracks.
You just couldn't skip them. It was so fucking annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was all that fucking nonsense babble.
Yeah, but, and the story was neat. The combat was addictive. The painting thing and making the world regrow back was brilliant. I literally walked around and regrew every tree because I just wanted to make the whole world pretty again. Like, every tree. Just whoosh, whoosh, whoosh.
I could kind of see this happening. Maybe not before something like Dino Crisis or Devil May Cry or something, but, like, I could see it happening.
I could totally see this happening because it does have the fan fervor and the fan demand. And if it did come back, it wouldn't have the impact of, like, you know, the God of Wars or like any of the others we were mentioning before where people would just, like, bust a lid like Devil May Cry. But it would still have a huge impact. You know, like, it would be on that list in the way that, like, that God of War came out and then they also, like, dropped Mass Effect or something right next to it.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like, God of War had a bigger, like, woo, but, you know, nevertheless, Mass Effect is still really cool, so Okami would be the same way.
Yeah, and on this generation of systems, it would just look fucking incredible.
Yeah, it would be too fun.
I would personally like to see Okami come back, and I think it's somewhat likely.
Yeah.
You know, somewhat.
No, it's like, if it's on the board, it's one of the ones on the board.
In the never gonna happen category, we have Parasite Eve.
Why do you put that as never?
They don't seem to really acknowledge Parasite Eve. Square at all.
No, they don't.
So, okay.
It's like it never happened.
We both love those games, right?
Loved 1 and 2.
Me too. They ignored it for years and years. Years and years and years. And then I hear this rumor that there's going to be
for no reason.
A Parasite
Eve. Sellers and critically acclaimed.
Yeah. And so years and years go by, and I'm like, I'm a big Parasite Eve fan, and there's never been a fucking game again. I start hearing rumors about there's going to be a PSP game, Parasite Eve. I'm like, oh, it's called The Third Birthday. I'm like, oh, Parasite Eve 3 on the fucking PSP. I had a PSP. My dream come true. Awful piece of shit. Terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible game. They just fucked it up completely. Yeah. And now I feel like it's one of those things where they're like, well, it didn't sell well. And it's like, well, because you made an awful game on a fucking dying system. What did you fucking expect?
Yeah. Like, I hate that whole, like, tested on the mobile thing that went through so many times, like, with the PSP or the Game Boy or anything. Like, they're always like, oh, well, we don't know if this franchise will be good enough. Let's just throw it on the mobile device, see if there's a demand. And then it's like, well, fuck, your mobile device thing.
You sent it to die. Like...
Yeah, you sent it into the death zone. Like, it's not just that the mobile device market's smaller, but at the same time, they can't do what they're like, I want to make this epic title of 60 hours. No one's doing that on your fucking Game Boy.
No, exactly. Like, God, yeah, I would kill for a fucking current gen Parasite Eve game.
Yeah.
It could be so cool.
It would be so good.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, it just feels like it's just being ignored.
Yeah.
And again, it's been so long, I almost don't know if people would even remember it, if that got revealed on stage.
No, well, yeah.
You know? Like...
every time I bring it up to a gamer at all, they all know it. So it's still in the mind, in the hive mind.
That's good. That's good. It's good to hear.
Yeah. So I don't know, but yeah, you're right. Like,
actually, sorry, this is almost off topic, but I was thinking with the Capcom thing. Monster Hunter's Capcom, right?
Yeah, but that's Nintendo, isn't it?
So, Monster Hunter was exclusive to PSP for a long time in Japan.
Yeah.
And Japanese people just had PSPs everywhere.
Those trains, I saw them everywhere.
And then the 3DS came out, and it went 3DS exclusive, because the 3DS was selling better than PSP at that point.
Yeah.
Now that the 3DS is probably dying,
it's gone.
Do you think, again, with Capcom's and Sony's business relationship, do you think that they could get, like, a sick-ass, like, console port? Like, not a console port, but, like, a... Monster Hunters always look interesting to me, but I just don't want to play a handheld game. Yeah. Like, if you made a fully fledged, like, console version of Monster Hunter on, like, PS4...
Well, they had them on the Wii and stuff, didn't they?
Yeah, but it was the Wii.
No, I know, but I mean, they've had console versions, so it would
but it was basically like a up-res port of the fucking PSP
but
game.
You just mean porting those games over to PlayStation?
No, I mean like full-fledged, like Monster Hunter, whatever they're on, 5, 6, whatever.
7.
Yeah, 7. Like make the next one like a full-fledged console, big-ass RPG type game, Because I've always had an interest in those games, but I never wanted to...
Like, I always liked the idea of going out and like hunting down a monster, which actually was one of my inspirations for one of my game design documents I put in for my final game in college.
Mm-hmm.
Because I would like the idea of like maybe getting together with a team and each one was like had different things. Like one had like rope traps and stuff, and I knew like you have to like go hide in the bush and organize everyone to go hide in the bush.
And these monsters in this game can run away too,
yeah.
And like they actually get away from you, and you have to like they recover HP and you got to find them again and stuff.
And like actually have to go hunt them and track shit.
There's a lot of cool mechanics to that, and I get that they wanted to do the team thing with everyone has several PSPs around there and you team up and you do the thing, but like you could do that on console. We have online. Online. I think that would be a huge thing.
And it's really a cool idea is also like carving up what you hunt and then making it into like your armor and stuff, but like actually literally doing that, like you're actually wearing like its shin bone as your shoulder piece or something, right? Like, that's really neat.
It has so many things that I think are so cool, but I just don't want to play a fucking 3DS Monster Hunter game. Like I want a fully fledged fucking console. I think that would be a big deal if they all of a sudden said like the next really cool Monster Hunter is going to be big on PS4.
Like the cool thing would be like Monster Hunter is make it like Shadow of the Colossus, where like you have these giant monsters that you have to team up and like really like scalp all the pieces off of, basically.
Yes.
And like you're like it's this giant thing, and you're like taking catapults to like tie down its legs, and then like someone's running up its back to like stab in something, and then like someone's throwing like bombs or whatever, something, right?
Yeah.
Someone on a hang glider is going around and like
poisoning it or something, right?
Like everyone's got their thing to do on this giant monster that everyone's scaling to try and drop together. Like turn that into Monster Hunter on a console.
Oh my god, yes, so Mike, you just made a fucking awesome game. That'd be so cool, and everyone has different classes, so not everyone can climb him. It only
like there's a trapper who puts out and lays out traps in his path and has to keep doing that, and then like there's like a
you have to stall it or break its leg or something. So
there's also like tankier class that's supposed to come up. And
how dope would that be, people? Yeah. My God, yeah, it could be like that franchise has so much potential to be so dope. Like I feel like that could be a really big deal. That wasn't even on here. That's just what I was thinking of. Again, in the never gonna happen category is Breath of Fire. We're never gonna get like a Breath of Fire.
What is with Square and ignoring its classic titles?
This is Capcom.
Capcom, sorry, but I mean Square Capcom has basically been right now between the two of them every single time.
It's true.
It's like fucking Clover and Capcom, fucking Okami. Like it doesn't matter. The two companies had they made pretty much 80% of my gaming.
Yeah, well, they have both rich histories and like with fantastic games. And
they made up everything.
Ignored. Yeah,
but they have franchises that could come back and evolve extraordinarily.
Yeah.
And Square, like, almost more so than Capcom. And why are these not still around?
Yeah.
Why are you bringing back stupid shit?
The thing is, like, again, with Breath of Fire, I think Breath of Fire sold pretty well when it was a normal JRPG. And they did that weird one, Breath of Fire 5, Dragon Quarter, where it was like a roguelike where you had to, like, start the game over when you died. Yeah. But you were high level, so you could kind of beam through it and get to... It was...
Yeah.
And then they were like, well, it didn't do well. Never gonna make those again. And you're like, why? And they made that god-awful fucking mobile game called The Breath of Fire. Damn it!
Yeah.
Get me angry.
Never happening. Great game. Good JRPG. Run with it.
Yeah. Xenogears.
So this is my thing.
And Xenogears, again, a big cult following, big
Huge
passionate following. Like, that would be one that I think a lot of people would be, like, pretty excited for if there was a new one.
On this podcast, I've told my story about being really, really sick and hallucinating myself into the game.
Yeah, yes, you have.
So, like, this means a lot. But the thing about Xenogears was I actually found it one of the more... Actually, like, it was very novel-esque in its writing. There's a shit ton of words that pop up. But I never... Like, in the beginning, I was like, fucking shut up, you know. But then when I started reading it, like, because I was just skipping it in the beginning, and I'm a reader, like, no matter what game it is, I need to read every word, usually. Like, Xenogears in the beginning, I'm like, fucking don't give a shit. You're talking about, like, apples. But then when I started reading it, I'm like, whoa, wait, what? What? And it just got more and more, and it got so deep, and then, like, the whole, like, lore behind it was so fucking cool. And then, like, where the science started just breaking boundaries, and, like, people were, like, flipping identities all of a sudden. You're like, who's the who's and the what? And then you're like, it's who? And fuck, it was so good.
That's the thing. I think that's why people like that game so much, is because they like the story and the actual combat.
The combat in the game, too, is really, really neat. Like, I mean, it doesn't play it now, but at the time when you're stuck in turn-based combat, where it was, like, select attack, select magic, select item, in that game, it was, you know, a combo system, which you'd memorize as, like, quote in the air. And it'd be like, okay, I'm going to do triangle, triangle, circle, X. And that would be an awesome pixel animated little combo of him doing like a up kick, upper air kick, slap, kick the thing in the air, grab it, and throw it on the ground. You know?
Yeah.
And then like later on at the end of the game when you get super powerful, like your abilities turn into like triple flip into the air and then just like Goku the fuck out of them with beams.
Goku the fuck out of them. If we named our fucking podcast, that'd be the title of this one.
Goku the fuck?
Yeah. Goku the fuck out of them. Not just Goku the fuck. That would be odd. But Xenogears, I think, would get a pretty favorable reaction. I don't think it's like the one more thing, but like it would probably get quite a cheer.
It would get quite a cheer, especially since they tried to continue the series with the Xenosaga thing, which was like the prequel story to how Xenogears happened. But that turned into shit real fast. The first one was great, and then like the second one was like, what the fuck did you do to the battle system?
Do you think if they brought it back, they would do like a spiritual, not like a, you know, kind of like in the vein of the first one, but like improved? Or do you think they'd do like, this is a 3D game and it's a fucking...
If they brought it back as Xenosaga continuation, shut the fuck up. Because that story got stupid. Like, they tried to do Xenogears complex, like, what did you do?
Is
like,
that weird, like, robot in space game? Is that my thing? It's
like half of the games in the world. Like,
blue-haired robot in space?
Yes. Yeah, with the silver. You know,
that's all I needed to say. Was clarify one thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That game
has some like fucked up stories. Which
the cutscene went on for like an hour and a half, probably. It was such a long cutscene that it was in that game.
Yeah,
I put it down. I stopped playing.
There's like 7 of those.
Yeah. Too much.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it.
There's a shit ton of it. They spent more time like trying to, and the stories made no fucking sense. You were like reading over it, and they're just like, it was like trying to keep track of all the fucking organizations in Metal Gear Solid.
Yes, it was. It was overly complex for no reason.
Yeah, and it just got worse as the game went on, and you're like, who is connected to what with the what now?
No, I mean more say something like they tried to transfer it like Final Fantasy 15 style into a 3D space.
That would be amazing.
You know, or do you think, or would you want that, or would you want like another 2D game, like another pixel sprite?
No. 3D new game Xenogears, like or in the Xenogears fame. Like we don't even have to have Faye again. Just put it in what happens in the world after that whole cataclysm happened. Maybe something new comes along. Or just do a Final Fantasy 7 remake and do Xenogears remake, because I would be down with that.
That'd be cool too. Soul Reaver. This is an interesting one because I think this is
likely
probably already happening.
Yeah.
Kind of like the Shenmue HD thing. Rumor has it because Square Enix Montreal is now working on the next Tomb Raider, which was called something stupid. There was a leak. The guy in the bus, remember that?
Yeah.
There was a big leak about that. So Montreal's probably working on it. So the studio that was working on it before...
They're on a hiring phase right now, too.
...are probably working on something else. Another property that's lying dormant in the Eidos, IP. And Soul Reaver is apparently what it's going to be. I'd like to see Soul Reaver come back.
It was neat.
I don't think that's...
But like Soul Reaver or... What was the other one? Because there was the vampire one and there was the Soul Reaver. So it was like the undead version guy and then there was the vampire one.
They were both called Legacy of Kain, right?
Yeah.
Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver, and Legacy of Kain...
Blood something?
Blood. Pump. No, the dude, like, he sucked blood, like, from corpses. Like,
yeah, but, like, from a distance, he just opened his mouth and went...
Yeah.
And went,
probably could be too much work to animate to, like, him going down.
Like,
and,
bending
slowly
over,
sucking
and especially in the middle of combat, where, like, you could do it in combat and heal yourself.
Yeah.
So instead you just be like, wait, guys, wait, just... Okay, I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. He just had these, like, powerful fangs that, like, sucked. Like, it was weird.
Blood pump.
Blood pump. That's all you need to know.
He's a good dick pump.
Well, whatever. Chronos Trigger Cross 3.
Well, I would just do the Chrono Series 3.
Yeah, Chrono 3.
Yeah.
Again, this is something that people have been fucking asking
this
for.
Would flip lids.
Yeah, that would be a good one. I think that
this would be like, and one more thing, and everyone would just like empty their bowels.
Yeah.
Like just quietly, they'd all just look up, and then it would just be like the smell.
Yeah, that would be. That would definitely be one to end on. I think a lot of people freak out. I think maybe a lot of modern gamers wouldn't like.
No,
if they're watching, I think they'd know why.
No, that's the thing. I've spoken to some of my students and younger. Everyone still goes back and gets, like, they all hear, they're like, have you ever played Chrono Trigger? No, then you haven't done gaming. And then they go do it. Because, like, everyone, they're not even just like, oh, you're being old. And they're like, no, you don't understand. If you don't play Chrono Trigger, you've never played.
You've never played a game.
Yeah, you've never done it.
Your opinion isn't valid.
Yeah, so, like, they all go back and they all play. Like, everyone I know plays Chrono Trigger.
Imagine,
and then
like,
Chrono Cross, yeah, it's good. I didn't think it was a bad game, but, you know, if you don't play it, whatever.
Yeah, it didn't seem like people, that seems to be the popular opinion on it. It's like, yeah,
it was good.
Alright. I mean, yeah, but imagine they fucking, like, they do Chrono Trigger 3 or something. Like, that would
Chrono Trigger, even a straight Chrono, if they did Chrono Trigger, like, 2, like, a straight, like, let's bring back Chrono.
Yeah.
That would just, like...
But the teaser is just, like, you see his red hair come into frame or something. Yeah. It's like the Akira Toriyama design. Like, yeah, that'd be crazy.
Or even if they just, like the sprites just, like, walked out in the middle of the screen.
When I was really young, I had a game...
victory dance.
When I was really young, I had a gaming magazine, and it had the Chrono Trigger character in it. And I didn't know who that was at the time, but I kept looking at it, and I recognized it was the guy, Dragon Ball Z character artist, Akira Toriyama, or the artist for all of Dragon Ball Z. And I just kept looking at it, and I was like, is this a character in Dragon Ball? Like, I thought it was, like, Trunks with red hair or something.
Yeah, everyone thought that. I was like, who's the red-haired Trunks?
Yeah.
Like, no, it's Chrono from...
It took me so long to, like, finally piece it together, like, as my fucking adolescent brain.
Yeah.
But his style is so distinctive. He didn't change it from anything.
No, it looks like Goku with red hair. And he even has the GT outfit on, you know, like that Trunks, or it's like Goku has on in GT, so, like...
And his style is also used for fucking Dragon Quest.
Yep.
And the last one on this list is Dark Cloud 3.
Again, another fan roaring.
Oh my god, I would be stoked if they did a Dark Cloud 3.
And I think that this one is extremely likely.
Yeah?
Yeah. Because Dark Cloud keeps popping up as being revamped and relaunched. It's always on PS Now, so it's always been updated and brought in. It was one of the first games that came out with, you know, like the console releases where they're like, hey, classic games, blah, blah, you know, here, have this. Dark Cloud always pops up. Always. It never stays off of any menu, right?
Yeah.
It's just seems so likely in my mind, especially considering how wonderfully they did between the two games. Because like the first game was really good, then the second game they just pumped it up even further. Even though it was that repetitive dungeon crawler where they're like, here, level with river in it and grass 7 times.
There was something about it. I fucking loved it.
Oh my god, yeah.
Dark Cloud 1 and 2.
Building the towns was the best part. Like I got into the dungeons just so that I could get the stuff, so I could get the towns built more.
Okay, wait. So I just typed in Dark Cloud 3 to Google because I wanted to see if there was any mention of it. Yeah. Apparently they announced it for the PlayStation 4 2 years ago.
Oh.
Speaking to Akira Hino, CEO of Level 5, he said there is strong evidence that is a request for a line of work like previous titles in our portfolio, as a petition on a fan-made Facebook page for Dark Cloud suggests. He continued that the White Knight Chronicles series did not do as well as we'd planned, and our recent success with Ni no Kuni suggests we should move to our next generation games in that direction.
Yes.
We're not announcing a Ni no Kuni 2, as our collaboration ended with the release of that game, but we're looking to revive past titles. It is true that White Knight Chronicles received a very large critical reception.
A very
blah,
average
blah, blah.
critical reception.
While blockbuster franchises like Professor Layton and Inazuma 11 will continue to remain on handheld devices, there could be a reinvigoration for console titles. Sony contacted Level 5 about a possible next-gen game, which is no surprise as Level 5 was one of the prominently listed publishers in the PlayStation 2013 meeting. There's an idea for some of our old PS2-era franchises to be reimagined for the next PlayStation. We were skeptical at first, but seeing the hardware in action opened up a lot of new and fresh possibilities. I think it's great that Sony contacted us to collaborate in creating a new magical world for PlayStation owners. We're happy to announce Dark Cloud 3 for PlayStation 4, and we will release more information at E3 2015. Okay, well, that never happened.
No.
But Ni no Kuni 2 happened. So, yeah. I don't know.
Well, I think maybe they went back. They probably had to team up for the Ni no Kuni 2. That development's apparently slow as fuck.
Yeah, seems like it.
So, like, they're stuck on Ni no Kuni 2 before they can move on to Dark Cloud. But that's what I mean. I think it's very likely that a Dark Cloud 3 is on the horizon. This E3, maybe, but probably not. Next E3, probably.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, this is cool. Great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, there you go, guys. Don't make cry. Fuck before you slip.
Yeah.
Dark Cloud 3 might be happening.
Yeah.
Very cool. But again, you're right. Probably wait for
because
quite a few years.
Ni no Kuni 2 isn't releasing this year anymore, is it? No, it's releasing this year.
I think it just has a 2017 release date.
Yeah.
We can check real quick.
So, like, if that's the case, and it's coming out this year, as soon as that functions off, they've already got a team started up on whatever next game it is. It'll probably switch over to Dark Cloud. And,
Yep, sometime next year. There's just a non-specific date.
Sometime this year now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Mike, to wrap this segment up a little bit, was there anything... So what's the most likely thing, do you think? Excluding Dark Cloud 3, now that we know that there was talk of it.
There's talk of it. Legend of Dragoon is sitting high on my radar for that. Devil May Cry is a good one. I think there's enough to, like, every list has Devil May Cry on it. Doesn't matter what it is, like, just game. Devil May Cry 5.
Yeah.
Or a relaunch of it in some fashion. And those are two of the biggest likelies in my head.
I think Devil May Cry 5 is likely coming up. There's things that I don't know if they're likely or not, but just, like, we should also do, like, in your heart, what do you want? Because, like, there's a lot of those I would have fucking loved to see. Like, Dino Crisis popping up would be super cool to me. Parasite Eve, obviously.
Parasite Eve would be amazing.
You know?
Breath of Fire.
Yeah, Breath of Fire. Those two probably aren't going to happen nearly as likely as Dino Crisis, though.
I would love for Square Enix to do something, and this would convince me to buy the Switch, is turn their JRPG factory that they made to make I Am Setsuna and all those JRPGs that they're committed to doing. And if they do it on the Switch, whatever, I don't give a shit. But just start bringing those titles back in that context.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Yeah, get the I Am Setsuna people to fucking make Breath of Fire 6, 7, whatever the fuck it is.
Even Parasite Eve.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, toss that on the Switch. I'm fine. You know? Like, just take back those titles, give them a spin, and then if it does turn out big enough, then switch them over to other things. You know, Square Enix is not console specific, so...
Game dreams, we all have them.
Yeah.
What are your game dreams? What do you want Sony to revive? I mean, you could be whatever you want Nintendo to revive, doesn't really matter. What would you like to see make a return?
Except for Jade Cocoon.
Yes, no Jade Cocoon on this podcast. This is the Jade Cocoonless podcast. So,
you
yeah.
dislike that game?
No, not at all. No. It's fine.
It's just so ludicrous that someone mentioned it.
Yeah, I just think, exactly. It's like, who's a Jade Cocoon fan? You must feel like the most fucking scorned person on earth.
Jade Cocoon fans, please chime in. We want to know who you are.
There's no way we have a Jade Cocoon fan. All right, anyways, so that was the Pens and Pixels Popcast, episode 60.
60.
We're old men now.
I was going to say, I was trying to blow it like it was like blowing smoke.
So if you want to keep up with Pens and Pixels, we are on all social medias. Pick your poison. Mike and I are on Twitter, @TheCalG and @MikeKentDraws.
Other than that, it's good nights, good evenings.
I thought you were going to do your like, share, subscribe thing.
No.
No, okay. Well, this week you guys are off the hook. You don't have to like, share, subscribe this week.
No, of course you do.
Don't worry
Please
about
do. Please like, share, subscribe. Give us a rating on iTunes. That always helps. You know, be sure to pass it around if you like us. Give us a comment in SoundCloud or on iTunes, whatever you want to do. You know, follow us on Facebook, all that kind of jazz. And, you know, let us know what you think. Contact us in any means possible. We'd love to hear from you. And other than that, we're done. Bon voodoo. Goodbye. Arrivederci. Sayonara. I got more.
Aloha.
Au revoir.
This party's getting crazy.